than we are now. Different in terms of results, different in how things look. But it's not always that simple, because sometimes you know what you have to do, but it's not always possible to also get exactly what you want. But for us, for me, it's really clear what we are lacking this season.
Well, the boos rang out, Martin, at full time, and many of the Liverpool fans, Simon, are not having them any longer. One wonders what he's got to do now, or if he has any time left to do what he wants to do and win them back round.
He won the Premier League last year, Jimmy. He's to be given more time, but they seem to have lost their way a little bit. I thought when he went there initially...
More than a little bit, though, Martin.
Yeah, but when he went there initially, like, it was very... I used to say crazy Klopp, but I really liked the energy that he got going, you know, that heavy metal tune that they used to sort of dance to. They came back from that a little bit and it was more managed, whereas this year they've not got to that boiling point again. They don't play with...
Owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. We're told to expect a nuclear explosion with Southampton and Middlesbrough on collision course over Spygate. Former Palace owner talkSPORT Simon Jordan thinks the latest statement out of St Mary's will enrage the Boro board.
I think there's very little doubt in Middlesbrough's mind. I think there's very little doubt in the EFL's mind. I think there's very little doubt in Southampton's mind. I think if I read the situation rightly, I think they've already coughed to it to Middlesbrough, and I think they've already coughed to it to the EFL.
The Saints CEO says the club is cooperating with the investigation and has asked for more time to conduct an internal review. Boro are expected to push for sporting sanctions if Saints are found guilty. Tonight's Championship playoff second leg starts goalless. You can hear live commentary on talkSPORT from 7. Now, he's taken Manchester United back into the Champions League, so Michael Carrick might expect his old teammates to put a word in for him. Club legend Paul Scholes says in the absence of a Thomas Tuchel or a Luis Enrique, he is the man.
I think appointing Michael will taper expectations a little bit as well. I think expectations are a big thing with Man United. You know, everybody who's involved with the club, whether it's you as a fan, whether it's me as a fan, whether it's people working there, at the start of every season we expect to be challenging for the league.
Meanwhile, Scholes is urging Manchester United to go after Elliot Anderson's signature this summer.
He will still have to test himself in the Champions League, but he looks to me like he'd be able to handle it absolutely no problem.
To find out who Paul Scholes would start in the 10 role for England, watch his interview back on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.
talkSPORT News.
We'll start with a bit of breaking news. Jess Phillips has resigned from government, putting more pressure on Keir Starmer to quit, and hundreds of kids are being given weight loss jabs on the NHS. More from Amelia at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Our expert technicians can't do your spring cleaning, but they can keep your car's inbuilt safety tech in top nick. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Sunnier spells in the northwest with the odd shower and blustery winds, cloud and rain moving southeastwards across England and Wales.
Chance to win a massive £25,000.
Oh my God.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of TalkSport Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT. Where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, Former Boro striker Craig Hignett on the spectre of Spygate ahead of tonight's playoff semi-final. Daniel Dubois trainer Don Charles pops in to tell us whether he would have thrown in the towel if he'd been in Fabio Wardley's corner. And ex-England spinner and coach Ashley Giles ahead of this week's summer squad announcement.
That will also cross to the States, where the hotels are struggling to shift rooms for the World Cup.
Yes.
And we're joined by the photographer who went on a global odyssey to snap and interview all of the World Cup final goal scorers.
That's a good idea. There's all this plus what last night's Spurs Leeds draw means for the relegation battle, and Chelsea supporting comedian and actor Omid Djalili gives us his pick for the new manager. Oh, okay.
That's right. It is. You've got.
I trust Omid to get it more right than our lot.
Yeah.
Picking.
You've got a pick. I'm sure Omid's got a pick. Everybody will have their favourites, won't they?
Yeah, but I guarantee they'll pick the wrong one. But there we go.
Pick the wrong one.
What can you do?
Anyway, it's 6 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy.
Yes, good afternoon, Paul.
And on the agony goes for us and the West Ham fans.
I know. I thought at 1-0 up, I was thinking, because I'm sure we're going to be on the beach next week after the cup final, whether we lose. And then I thought, when you're winning, we'll both be on the beach. The players can turn out in Hawaiian shirts.
That would have been nice, yeah. Margaritas all around.
Cocktails at half.
The frustration last night is that, although, Leeds didn't down tools, but you just sense that as soon as Tottenham scored, you would just see a slight let-up. And I was just thinking...
Well, even in the first half, the commentators were saying...
I said it to you at half-time, and you told me they were saying it on telly. There was just that feeling that Tottenham had to score. And they did score, and I thought they can get a second now. Leeds, look, they'll put a shift in, definitely, and they did. But you felt it obviously didn't matter as much to them. And at 2-0, that would have been it. So I spoke to Cass and Shaban the other week on their show, Weekend Breakfast. And Cass said, Paul, it seems that with every passing game, Tottenham find new ways to mess it up. And so I think an overhead kick in your own box is another one that Cass can add to the list.
True, it was a mad thing to do. And they were sort of just a little bit, about 5 minutes before the penalty, that Leeds were just starting to make an impression.
Yeah.
And, that was just mad.
Well, I think there was definite nerves. You could sense that. And it's really the first time De Zerbi has admitted that they are sort of starting to buckle under the pressure. It's not effort. I cannot fault the effort.
No.
I can fault the quality, especially up front. I mean, Richarlison's always been a player that needs at least 10 chances to put, not just to score one goal, but to put one on target.
For goodness sake.
I mean, in the first half, he was played in by Boro. It was a lovely ball. He was onside. And his first touch was... honestly, you could walk into any favela in Brazil today and you'd find 10, 8-year-old kids with a better first touch than that. It was lamentable. Then he stuck that one over the bar. Leeds actually had more shots on target than Spurs in a game where they kind of played within themselves, really, and only started playing when they got 1-1 because they were enjoying themselves, because they had absolutely no pressure on them.
Yeah, they played with a bit of freedom.
And
Ampadu's a good player.
Yeah.
So key for them.
I'm finding it increasingly difficult to be optimistic, because I look at West Ham. You think West Ham kind of went toe-to-toe with Arsenal? Coulda, woulda, shoulda got a draw. You
Maybe,
still might argue. Yeah. They were organised. They rode out a 20-minute spell where they didn't concede. They've just got something about them.
They're under massive pressure, though. They basically, a draw won't be good enough for them, I don't think. No. They've got to go to Newcastle and win, and I can't see that.
I think they have players that might step up, like Bowen and Somerville. Tottenham getting Maddison back even for 10 minutes last night. You saw him trying to make things happen. Maybe if he's got another 10 minutes in him for the Chelsea game, and we can get 20 minutes, half an hour with another week's training.
If you go into that game and a draw's enough, you got to remember this is the worst Chelsea team for about 30 years. Their home record is like Spurs. It's absolutely dark.
The atmosphere is going to be feral. Because it'd be no different. I don't blame Chelsea fans. If it was the other way round and we were going to potentially relegate you, it would be hilarious. And I totally get that. But they've piled all the pressure on themselves now by coming up short last night.
I just think if Chelsea were in a better state, if they were already qualified for Europe, if they didn't have the cup final, it is a big factor, the cup final, because win or lose, it's going to affect them. It would be worse for Spurs, I think, if Chelsea won the final, because I think they'd be in a right good mood.
Yeah.
If they lose the final, the players really have had enough. They just want the season to end.
Well, we'll get a bit of distance on this debate. I'm just going to say, Colin Mawani. Colin Mawani. I haven't got to say anything else. I think anybody who watched that game last night is all you really need to say.
Couldn't fault his effort though. He put us
No,
such a
I'm not
shift.
faulting anybody's effort. I'm not faulting the fact they don't care. They are caring. They're working hard. But
Touch. There was one point where he beat first man and he set.
he is the archetypal dog chasing a balloon. He's that, isn't he? He's like he'll get in good positions, fall over his own feet, run it into touch, cannon off his knee. Man alive. 65 million quid PSG paid for him. Seriously.
I know, it's a lot of money, isn't it, when he missed that crucial...
Anyway, thank you, caller. Do I win £100 worth of tool station vouchers?
There's a really worrying trend. I've talked to you about this off air, but Esteval's missing the World Cup now.
Yeah.
Johnny Cardoso's missing the World Cup. Matoma is the latest.
Yeah.
Never mind 48 teams. We'd be lucky if we've got 48 players.
There are some really good players.
It's ridiculous. It's so sad that the World Cup will not have a lot of the top players playing.
Yeah. And those that are there could be pretty flogged.
They're all flogged.
Playing in, 100 plus degree heat all the time.
Yeah, yeah. And the further you go in the tournament, the more it affects you next season. You've seen with Chelsea what's happened.
Yeah, with the Club World Cup. Yeah.
So
we're going to...
It didn't seem to affect PSG.
No. Now, I don't know if we've got that bit of music. Have we got a bit of music ready to play? Would you have a listen to this, Andy? Tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
Oh, I like this. Do you like it?
Is that our theme tune?
No. It's a sort of substrata apparently of samba music.
Yes.
And it's much loved by Diego Dallo, the Manchester United player.
It's nice, isn't it?
I think it's nice.
Yeah.
But it seems the rest of the Manchester United players aren't massively keen, because it was revealed this week that he blasts it out in the dressing room before games, and they're saying, switch it off, Diego. They're not massively interested, which does, as I say, seem a great shame, because it sounds all right to me. But it makes you kind of think of Brazil in the World Cup, doesn't it? Kind of gets you in the mood. Makes me think of Richarlison's first touch. Yeah, which I've always been a great fan of. So anyway, we bring this up because maybe at your club on a Sunday morning, Saturday afternoon, you ape the pros and you like to have a bit of music in the dressing room. If you've been here the day you were in charge of the music, or indeed someone else was in charge of the music and all the fallout that came from it.
A bit of classical would be good.
Do you think a little bit classical in the dressing room and the boys all getting ready?
Can you imagine?
A bit of gymnopedes or something. Good old Jim. My name's Jim Nopodies. Anyway, talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J, 03717 223344. You or else, someone else in charge of the music, whether it's sporting or otherwise, we're interested to know. Whether it's in the car, whether you do it deliberately or they deliberately do it to you just to wind you up. You get the idea with that.
It's good to hear Jim Nopodies mention it Tuesday at lunchtime.
Yeah, this Tuesday it's Jim Nopodies this Tuesday. Anyway, so that's all to come.
Okay.
Now, Tom Barkley is the author of The Miracle in Bilbao. He's been the Spurs correspondent for The Sun for some years now. And he's part of the Tottenham Way podcast. But he is a Newcastle fan. So he has a bit of professional distance on the whole thing.
Oh, right.
And, of course, his team is going to have a big say in what happens in that two-way fight between West Ham and Spurs at the weekend when they go to St James's Park. So we'll get, with a little bit of distance, but obviously with a Tottenham eye professionally, Tom Bartley will join us to give us his take on where we're at. Hopefully cheer me up, maybe not. Ashley Giles, former England cricketer, spin bowler, Ashes winner, and indeed he was MD of cricket, wasn't he, and a coach. He's going to join us for a chat. They're going to pick their squad for the first test of the summer. There's going to be a couple of notable absentees, it seems, and maybe a couple of new faces. So we will get Ashley's take on that. And, we're starting to get some stories about the next Chelsea manager. It might be. Xavi Alonso's been mentioned, hasn't he? Andoni Iraola.
That's my choice.
Marco Silva. You're not keen?
No, thanks.
A Fulham manager. Yeah. But Omid Djalili is going to join us. He's got a new film out that's going to Cannes, don't you know? I don't know if he's going to Cannes with it. But he's going to have a chat with us, tell us who he favours to take over and talk about other stuff as well. Don Charles is going to join us in the studio, Daniel Dubois' trainer. And as we said, we will ask him the question of whether he would have thrown in the towel a touch earlier than Fabio Wardley's corner did. And lots more to come. We are going to head to the States, where it seems the hotel room bookings are down for the summer. You think they'd be up for the World Cup, but it seems that the people who would normally vacation there are keeping away because the football's on, and the football fans aren't prepared to pay the prices. So that, and as we said, Johnny Cardoso is going to miss out, which is a big blow to Maurizio Pochettino. Anyway, it's 30 days, isn't it, to the World Cup, so we'll take stock of that with Brian Charetta a little bit later on. And our own Adrian Durham joins us, head of the big grudge match, Saints Boro. Craig Hignet's also going to join us for a chat about that later on, the score of the first goal at the Riverside, the former Boro striker. So a busy show as always. I was in charge of the music. They were in charge of the music. Tell us what went on. talksport.com, text 1889, tweet TSH and J 03717223344. But say we'll get a bit of professional distance on the relegation dogfight with Tom Barkley of The Sun next. We're here with the Tool Station Trade Club. You'll get 10% off all electrical and lighting products when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Tool Station.
It's going to be a fun run. I mean, with the Premier League, I think it really is in our hands now. I can't see us giving it away with our remaining fixtures, especially Burnley at home next Monday night, which I will be going to.
Kurt, I feel as well, Man City will drop points. I really believe it. Bournemouth away. Irio's last game, home game of the season, and they're fighting for Champions League. That's a tough game for Man City.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If obviously Aston Villa go and win the Europa League final, doesn't that open
sixth place? Yeah.
Yeah. So Bournemouth have got it all to fight for.
Because Brighton have got two winnable games behind them as well, so they know they probably need 2 wins. Bournemouth.
Yeah, Brighton have been in great form as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But guys, I've got to tell you, and I know you guys have probably already been told, but a lot of rival fans listening to this are going to think I'm crazy. I actually, a few weeks ago, had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed on my forearm.
No, I don't believe you.
I really have. It's on my TikTok page. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of it, am I?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so if for anyone listening, it's called Arsenal.overflow. And yeah, you'll find it on TikTok. It's pinned at the top of my profile. I had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed alongside Thierry Henry and Emirates Stadium in the background because I do believe in this man. I do believe he is the one that's going to get us over that line, get us the trophies. And once these come in this season, I think we're just going to keep on going. Then I think the next couple of seasons we'll continue winning a lot more silverware.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win, because we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a massive £25,000.
Oh my God.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
is officially West Ham or Tottenham Hotspur for the drop.
We didn't play a great game because I think we felt too much the pressure.
Flicked away by Biol towards Tell, who strikes it from the edge of the area into the far corner.
Great precision. It's a wonderful finish. Moment of the night.
To Richarlison over the top. Oh, what a chance to make it 2-0. And then that's a stupid challenge by Matisse Tell, who tries to do an overhead kick and kicks at Ampadu. It's a clearer penalty as you will ever see. 73 on the clock. Calvert-Lewin rams it past the goalkeeper. Leeds are level.
Fighting for the relegation is not like fighting for the qualifying Champions League. No?
Here's Longstaff, played in by Justin. Longstaff hits the underside of the bar in the 98th minute. Another angst-ridden, tense night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur's stay in the Premier League is still hanging by a thread. Tottenham 1, Leeds 1.
Finding new ways to nose it up. As I said, cannot fault the effort, but the quality at times is sadly lacking. As we said, let's get some
and the bench as well because of the injury.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's get some professional distance on it. As we said, Tom Bartley from The Sun is part of the Tottenham Way podcast, has written a fine book on Spurs, Miracle in Bilbao. But he is a Newcastle fan. He's not a Spurs fan, so maybe he can calm us all down or not. Good afternoon, Tom.
Afternoon, Paul, Andy. I'll do my best.
Yes. So, I mean, let's just kind of reflect on last night and where it leaves us in the relegation battle. I don't know if you sensed, as I did, that you kind of felt at 1-0, Tottenham only had to step it up a little bit, and you kind of felt Leeds wouldn't have been too upset about that. They felt like it was a game there for the taking. But, of course, as soon as that didn't happen, they played their way back in and got the penalty and looked the more dangerous team afterwards.
Yeah, mixed feelings, I guess, for Spurs fans after that game. Because on the one hand, it feels like a big opportunity missed. You're right, Leeds are a very difficult nut to crack, been brilliant away from home, but were safe before the game kicked off. In fact, the fans were singing, the away fans were singing about staying up before the game kicked off. So you've got to imagine there was a bit of anxiety sort of removed from them, whatever the result last night. And it was a chance for Spurs. But then having been pegged back to 1-1, it could have been so much worse. And if it weren't for Antonin Kinski and his heroics, which, by the way, what a turnaround for him. Unbelievable, given what happened just a couple of months ago in Madrid. It could have been worse. So from a Spurs point of view, the optimistic view would be it's a crucial point gained rather than a big chance to get 3 and puts West Ham in a really difficult position.
It's interesting though with Leeds because you made the point there that they've been good all season, but they've only won 2 all season. So and Spurs had only won 2 at home, so they'd only won 2 away, and Spurs had only won 2.
They'd drawn a fair few, and their record away from home across the board.
They draw a lot of games. That's it.
Has been good. So I kind of think that West Ham would have gone to Newcastle in far more trepidation, really, on Sunday, had Tottenham won last night. It's taken a bit of pressure off of them. I'm sure in training today, they're all saying, come on, we've another lifeline. We've got to go for it. And there is something about the way West Ham have been playing, and certainly from in spells at the weekend, where they look better equipped to deal with this. I'm obviously, as a Tottenham
they
fan,
would have had to have won. If they'd won last night, they would have had to have won. A draw wouldn't be enough.
I hope I'm wrong, but they just feel like they're just slightly better equipped. And certainly in light of what we just heard from De Zerbi, saying the pressure's getting to the players, and a lot of them haven't been here before.
Well, you say that, but Spurs have unbeaten in 4. Unlucky to not win both those games they've drawn against Brighton and Leeds. They're actually much better form, obviously, than they've been before. West Ham, I feel, have had a rough time the last couple of games. Brentford, on the face of it, 3-0 is a very one-sided result. But how many times they hit the bar in that game? Everything seems to go against them. And then you got the Arsenal match, which De Zerbi last night was very much at pains to say, it was 200% a foul and the goal should have been ruled out. He doesn't see the controversy around it, but I think most people do and realise that West Ham it hasn't quite gone for them of late. But having said that, you definitely would take Spurs' position over theirs. It's 2 points, but it's effectively 3 given the superior goal difference. They've got to go to Chelsea, which, as both of you well know, is a terrible fixture for Tottenham. But this is a Chelsea team that's kind of in disarray. It'll be after the cup final. It feels like this season more than ever, it's about playing the form of the team you're facing rather than the name of it. I mean, Brighton and Leeds at home, yes, maybe theoretically you think those are winnable games, but actually Brighton are in fantastic form. Leeds, I know, Andy, you say haven't won many games, but actually they haven't lost a game away from home in the Premier League since January the 7th, so they're very good on the road. Whereas Chelsea, we know what problems they've got, so it actually does feel like a game that they can at least get a point from, Spurs, and then you're finishing at home to Everton. I guess they are a team in form, but you can't
don't want to be
expect...
going into that Everton game needing anything.
No,
because Everton are a difficult.
And the
team.
David Moyes,
True.
obviously,
might need Europe.
David Moyes loved at West Ham. That would give that an extra edge. So on to Newcastle. And say you're a fan of the club, and you've had some great nights and days, I'm sure, at St James's Park. What's your expectation of Newcastle this weekend? It is the last home game. It's been a pretty difficult season. It seems that Eddie Howe is staying. So what's your expectation? Do you think the crowd will be wanting them to go out in a bit of style?
Yeah, definitely, and the sort of incentive to finish above Sunderland comes into it as well. But a couple of weeks ago, I thought Newcastle was probably the easiest fixture any team could face because they looked to be on the beach. All their World Cup players who should be going to the tournament will have had that on their minds. Eddie looked like he was on the way out, but then again, it looks like he's staying now. They've decided to leave out he's decided to leave out players in the last game, like Anthony Gordon, who seems like their future is away from the club, and they went and beat Brighton, who are obviously going for European qualification, and almost beat Forest as well. So they've had a little upturn. But like I say, West Ham with the bit between their teeth, particularly after the last couple of games where they feel like things have gone against them, I still think they could definitely win it. And in fact, they actually did win at St James's last season when Newcastle were flying, a rare result for the predecessor of right now.
You'd be in trouble right if West Ham win it. Spurs are in trouble.
Oh yeah, they will be. Yeah, Lopetegui. Yeah, no, they will be in trouble because I think it comes down to it. Looking at Leeds, yes, they are a good side, but as I said, I did sense that they weren't overly fussed if they'd ended up losing 1-0. I think West Ham will definitely beat Leeds.
Even if they win, that's 3 points, isn't it? So then they'd be 1 point ahead of Spurs.
And they play Leeds at home in their last game.
Yes, but if you draw, then you'd be... Yeah, it's quite tricky. It's going to go down to the last game, isn't it? Probably, almost.
Yeah.
Unless West Ham get beat. So we'll see.
Well, then it's a very different... I mean, I'll take what you say about Chelsea, but I just think the atmosphere will be pretty feral because, understandably, the chance to potentially relegate one of your rivals is a joy, isn't it? So I think the fans will give the players maybe an extra yard. I don't think it'd be a great atmosphere.
But I think it depends on what happens on Saturday. If they play City and they lose 4-0 or something like that, or they get thrashed 3-1 or whatever, then obviously the crowd aren't going to be up for much on Tuesday night. So a lot of it depends on if they run City close or they win. Well, that's a different.
Lots of ifs and buts. Are you doing a Tottenham Way podcast, Tom, today off the back of last night?
Yeah, we have done. Yeah, it should be going out any minute now, and it's quite a lot of your feelings there. I think Marcus Buckland, as you know well, will be channeling that fan perspective. But I think us other chaps, I think we've had a bit of perspective, and I feel like Spurs are in the position you would rather be in. But they can't rely on West Ham to mess it up. They've got to go and do it themselves.
Good stuff, Tom. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys.
Son's Tom Bartley there, the author of Miracle in Bilbao, if you want to be reminded of slightly happier times, although we did finish 17th last season. So, Tottenham Way podcast.
Miracle in Tottenham is what you need.
Well, to win a game would be nice. Win a game this year would be the Miracle in Tottenham. It's a new book for Tom once this is all done. Anyway, what about this? The first episode of the brand new The Sports Bar Encouraging Signs podcast is available now. On the first episode, O'Hara and Cundy delve into whether there is an agenda against Spurs after another disappointing result against Leeds. I was listening in the car. I said to my son in the car, I said, I can't listen to Jason when he's in this mood. Have you been to Lincoln? You've been to Lincoln, though? Have you? It's nice. I bet it's nice. Shut up, Jason. So annoying when he's like that.
He's funny.
I don't blame him, though. Anyway, on the first episode, O'Hara and Cundy delve into whether there's an agenda. No. Cundy is back on the wind-up. No, really? And former Premier League referee Dermot Gallagher joins the boys to go over the weekend's controversial VAR moments. I cannot believe Jamie O'Hara has agreed to do a Chelsea-Tottenham watch-along next week.
No, it's mad, isn't it?
They're going to end up having a fight. He's going to throttle Jason if it all goes wrong. But anyway, they will do a watch-along for the Chelsea-Spurs game next Tuesday. More on that as we get closer to
But if you both win, then you only need a draw in the last game against Everton, which is achievable, I think.
Yeah, I put in far too much time and emotional energy into this. It's just dragging me down. I'm trying to be optimistic. It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Anyway, Ashley Giles joins us next. His fine book has been shortlisted for the Sports Book Awards, and we're going to look at some of those players that could work their way into the first England squad of the summer. That's all to come.
I look back on it, it's probably one of the best shows we've ever put on. The main event was just unbelievable. Unbelievable fight. Two absolute warriors who gritted their teeth and gave everything. And the place was rammed out, it was sold out, and everybody there, they were just enthralled by it.
And of course, we saw it happen in the early moments. Frank Dubois picked himself up from the canvas twice after all the question marks about Hart. And I know you bristled at these questions before the fight, but is Daniel now no longer a man to be doubted?
Well, look at the punches that he took. And he got up, and he gritted his teeth and got on with it, and he's matured. And he boxed extremely well. I watched it back on the replay on TV, and I thought it actually looked better on the replay than he did when I was watching it. I thought he was excellent, and he was so good afterwards. The way he praised Fabio for his, the part he played in the fight. It was magnificent. And anybody who doubts Daniel now, I don't know what planet they're on. I mean, he's matured mentally, and I believed in him. We've stuck with him. We believed in him and stuck with him, and he delivered for everybody.
I think you thought the Hart issue.
We're told to expect a nuclear explosion with Southampton and Middlesbrough on a collision course over Spygate. Former Palace owner talkSPORT Simon Jordan thinks the latest statement out of St Mary's will enrage the Boro board.
I think there's very little doubt in Middlesbrough's mind. I think there's very little doubt in the EFL's mind. I think there's very little doubt in Southampton's mind. I think if I read the situation rightly, I think they've already coughed to it to Middlesbrough, and I think they've already coughed to it to the EFL.
The Saints CEO says the club is cooperating with an investigation and has asked for more time to conduct an internal review. Boro are expected to push for sporting sanctions if Saints are found guilty. Tonight's Championship playoff second leg starts goalless. You can hear live commentary on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Now he's taken Manchester United back into the Champions League, so Michael Carrick might expect his old teammates to put a word in for him. Club legend Paul Scholes says in the absence of a Thomas Tuchel or a Luis Enrique, he's the man.
I think appointing Michael will taper expectations a little bit as well. I think expectations are a big thing with Man United. Everybody who's involved with the club, whether it's you as a fan, whether it's me as a fan, whether it's people working there, at the start of every season, we expect to be challenging for the league.
Scholes is also urging United to go after Elliot Anderson's signature this summer.
He will still have to test himself in the Champions League, but he looks to me like he'd be able to handle it absolutely no problem.
To find out who Paul Scholes would start in the 10 for England, watch this interview back on our YouTube channel.
Now, do you fancy £25,000 in your hand, completely tax-free?
Who wouldn't?
At talkSPORT, our competition's got a whole lot bigger with even more prizes up for grabs to give you that winning feeling. To celebrate, here's your chance to win 25 grand. So get your entry in now. Here's what you have to do.
Yes, for your chance to win, head to talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338. Text and online entries cost £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Entries must be in by 18th of May 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com. So for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now. It's Melvin Bragg today. Sorry about that.
You have got a bit Melvin Bragg. Tonight in John Benson's film, Andy Jacobs drinks his Japanese tea. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Good luck with the competition. We're going to have an England squad announcement, first test of the summer, just around the corner. Expectation, there could be a couple of new faces in there. Here to chat about that is a former director of cricket and white ball coach for England and fine England Ashes winning spinner. And to celebrate the fact that his book has been shortlisted for the Charles Tyrwhitt Sports Book Awards, it's Ashley Giles. Hi, Ashley.
Afternoon, guys. How are you?
Yeah, good. We had a chat about the book when it came out, so congratulations. You must be chuffed.
Yeah, really chuffed. Yeah, it was never, the book was never written for, financial gain, or necessarily awards. It was more a challenge for me, as we talked about last time, and getting that story of my career down on paper. But yeah, it's great that it's been shortlisted, and particularly having put many hours in myself writing it.
Is it a kind of, it's a question that get asked a lot when people tell this story, but is it a kind of cathartic experience? Is it, I suppose it's difficult in the process because you're bringing up stuff that was difficult at the time, but when it's all down on paper, does it help?
Absolutely cathartic, yeah. Both I found writing it, although as you say, some of it's painful, but also releasing it, because then it's out there. It's, it's up to everyone else. You're almost bearing your soul, but once it's in other people's hands, well, you can't control it anymore. So definitely cathartic.
Were you surprised by maybe some of the people that have come up to you and said, Ash, I was in a dressing room with you and I didn't know it was like that?
Yeah, but I think that's a common problem, not just in sport, but in life. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it was one of those things we didn't really talk about in those environments. And when you look at some of my best mates in that dressing room, one of them, the England captain, Michael Vaughan, those sort of struggles aren't always the sort of things you're going to talk about with your captain.
Yeah.
And it's an isolating and lonely place, but I can only urge people, if they've got issues, to get out and talk about them.
Fred Flintoff's been great about that. His programmes, his whole attitude, the way he was with the kids, the way he's been with his own accident, it's quite inspiring, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone as big as Fred can come out and speak openly and freely and honestly like that, then everyone else should be able to. And again, if you need help across any range of subjects, then often help is there. It's at the end of a phone, or just reach out and ask for it.
So we wish you well at the awards, and let's have a talk about the current team. You've been the director of cricket, you've been in the hot seat, and we're going to have a squad announcement over the next couple of days. There is an expectation. I mean, you're watching a lot of county cricket still. Do you think some fresh faces would be good this summer?
I think we're bound to see some. I think the lack of, or having no change across the management or coaching structure. I think it'd be crazy if there was no change across the team as well. So I think we can expect some change there. I think also the selectors, the captain, the coach, and others will want to demonstrate that they're getting closer to county cricket, which has been one of the criticisms of that group. So I can expect a couple of picks, guys who've been successful in the county game this summer.
I think there has been more focus on county cricket and performances, and you see bits on social media, bowlers having a good innings, bowling well, and saw Duckett yesterday making runs after a tricky time. So, but then you've got somebody like Bethel who'd rather be in the IPO. I've had a lot of criticism for that. Where do you stand on that?
Look, I'm okay with that. I think Beth's a very exciting young player. He's demonstrated that when he's come into the England team, actually with very little 4-day cricket under his belt during his career. So you're picking someone on potential, on their future potential, and what you see with your eyes, which is, as I say, a very exciting player. So I've got no issue with that. He'll learn a lot from the IPL, but only time will tell when he comes back into this environment against a good, an always competitive New Zealand team, whether that will make a difference once they start that series.
Now, the spinners, Ashley, I know Andy favours Shoaib Bashir. You think he gets good players out, don't you?
I do. I think he's got a good record against good players, and I'm pleased to see him taking wickets in county cricket.
Yeah, Rob Key went to see him play for Kent recently. But there's Rian Ahmed, there's Don Bess, Mason Crane. There's a few boys out there. Do you want to throw any other names into the ring?
No, I think you've named most of them. I wonder, in Bash's case, well, what's he done wrong? Because he didn't play in the Ashes series. He was the number one pick. He was a centrally contracted player. So it's difficult to see, unless they're just going on how he's bowled this year or in practice in the winter, how someone else has gone past him. I think he's got some ability. He's tall. He spins the ball, high release point. I think he's got a lot going for him. So I'd like to see him get a go at some point.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like Jack Leach still, but I suppose his time's gone. But he gives you control. He's a good bowler in that way. So I don't know. Maybe they don't want that.
Yeah, I think the toughest thing is just for spinners. Full stop. I want to resist talking about in my time in the old days, but there was a period when I was coming through and learning my trade that in July and August, when the sun came out and the wickets dried and it got dusty, that's when you earned your money and you learnt your game. But young spinners just don't get that anymore in our setup.
Ollie Robinson could be in the frame, couldn't he? There's some talk of that.
Yeah.
What do you make of that, Ashley?
Well, look, there's no doubting Robbo's ability. He was playing in the teams when I was managing director. I suppose the only question is, I take it, I wasn't involved in the decision, he was sidelined for a reason. So if he was sidelined for a reason, whenever that was, a couple of years ago, what's changed? Has he changed? Has he demonstrated something different? I know there's been talk and issues around his fitness and his ability to stay on the park and bowl long spells, or particularly in test matches. So has he demonstrated that enough to force himself back into the team? I don't know. I think there'd have to be question marks there, but that'll be down to that selection panel.
He has said that he never really found out why he was dropped. And there's been criticism over the years of kind of communication and players maybe not being told why they're in or out. I mean, do you think that's a fair criticism?
No, look, I'd be very surprised if he wasn't told why he'd been left out. Breaking up is never easy. Whenever you leave players out, they tend to obviously hold it against those who are in power or making those decisions. But I would have thought it's laid out pretty clearly. I know, during my time, we had discussions with all players and Robbo as well about what is expected at that level and what we required. Again, he's a fantastic bowler. He'd be perfect in our conditions, but Test cricket is tough, and you've got to be able to keep coming back for, at times, 2 days in a row.
I like that youngster Anderson at Lancashire. I think
he's good, isn't he?
He's quite promising.
I think he's got a future. Yeah, I mean, he's still bowling. What about the rookie, James Anderson?
Well, I think his time might have gone, but
still good though.
Yeah,
isn't he?
I mean, he's incredible, isn't he? Because I played with him, and I've been retired for what now, 20 years, and I played quite a lot of Test cricket with Jimmy. So it's just extraordinary. He seems to be forever young and getting fitter almost as the years go by. So whatever he's taking, we all need some of it.
And the book's called The King of Spain and I. You've got no contact with the King of Spain as far as I know. It comes from the Warwickshire club shop getting their spelling wrong on some mugs they had done,
It's great.
meaning King of Spin.
They're probably quite valuable, those mugs.
Have you still got one?
There is only one original left, and that is still in the museum.
in the museum.
That's amazing.
It's great.
We did print a few more that say that afterwards.
Yeah.
which was a bit of fun. And actually, it's still the fun. You know, it connects me with that time. And when I walk down the street and people clock me, it's like I know it's coming. You know, they get about 5 or 10 yards past, and I get the King of Spain shout.
Cheers.
Brilliant.
Well, good to talk to you, Ashley.
Brilliant.
All the best. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys.
Ashley Giles there, former England spinner and director of cricket. And as soon as that breaks, we will bring it to you. And I'm sure the boys in the following on podcast will be dissecting those picks from Rob Key and everybody else, and Brendan McCullum, head of the Summers Cricket. Omid Djalili joins us next. He's got a new film out that's going to Cannes, and it's called About a Bell. I know no more than that, but I think it's about a bell.
Okay, it's called that.
And he's a big Chelsea fan. We'll get his tip for the next Chelsea manager. We're here, of course, with our very good friends at Tool Station. First stop, Tool Station.
Let's not worry about other teams. I'm sorry, West Ham, not our problem. Okay, you lost 3-0 to Brentford. You've got 3 games. Go and beat Arsenal on the weekend. Do it yourself. Aston Villa, worry about Aston Villa. And the players, they took it easy. My daughter was there in the Holton. She's like, Dad, why is everyone walking? It was walking football from Aston Villa. But then when you see a performance like that, where they've put in 100% every player, you don't care about that. Up the Villa!
Up the Villa!
Up the Villa! Istanbul!
Do you want the hands mask? Put the hands mask on.
Gary's putting the hands mask on. Up the Villa! Up the Villa! Up the European Villa! Istanbul! Istanbul! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Boys,
do as anyone see. Do as anyone see.
Yeah,
Go on, Gary. Let's set it up for Gary.
Sorry. Has anyone seen Maximus Scott? Where are you, Max? We need some news. Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves. Sherwood Forest. Friar Tuck. Where are you, Friar? The original boots chemist. Hooters. Is Hooters closed? I used to open Hooters. Close Hooters. Shut it down. Matt Ford. Do us a favour, mate. Stuart Broad. Where are you? Chris Wokes. Better player. Where are you? Tricky Trees. Rock City. HB Sauce. Where are you? Notts. Forest.
And Big Age Mark kill me. The Big Age Mark kill me.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win, because we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a massive £25,000.
Oh my God.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
Now, our next guest has a new film out that's heading off to Cannes.
Lovely.
It's called About the Bell. We're going to play you a bit of the trailer now before we chat to Omid Djalili and a bit of Chelsea as well. Here we are.
This is going to be apartments. Didn't you see the planning notice in the library?
Bryony. My name's Bryony.
I'm Sammy Shahadi. Come, dance with me.
No, I really can't.
What do you mean you can't dance?
I can't dance.
What kind of boyfriends you have that don't teach you how to dance? Come on, I'll show you. That's it. Just move.
Guess what? The bell. They're going to throw it away.
We have to save it.
We
have lived through a time of darkness. Even our church desecrated.
Some things you just have to do. Now, everybody's going to have to take notice.
There we are, this Omid, who gets to dance. It's not like him to
dancing.
dance. Yeah, that's quite a departure. Good afternoon, Omid.
Good afternoon, my two favourite boys in sport. How are you?
Yeah, we're good. Good cast, isn't it? Christopher Eccleston, Roger Allen, lots of good people in it.
Yeah, and that was Nigel Havers, who plays a kind of... I call him a 1980s greaseball property developer. And it's a crazy film. It's all about basically some Syrian asylum seeker from Aleppo who just gets outraged that a church is demolished. And it goes around expressing his outrage and then nicks the bell and goes viral. The police are after him. Christopher Eccleston. It's a wacky film. But, you know, with these small stories of like a tiny microcosm, you really get to see like what human beings are all about and who we are as a species. I think it's a great film directed by Simon Callow, of all people.
Yeah, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's great. I said, what was your first film like? And he said, in a very theatrical way, my first film was an unmitigated disaster.
I was once, we went to see Simon Callow once in a play.
Yeah.
And my friend, we all fell asleep.
We all fell. We did. Didn't put that in the reviews.
And afterwards, we saw him at Harvey Nichols having tea, and my friend went up and said, "Oh, you were marvellous in that play."
Oh.
Come on. It's ridiculous.
I got the best night's kip. Yeah.
He's brilliant because he said to me, Omid, could you do that again, but go a bit bigger? I said, do you know who you're talking to? He started laughing. He goes, do you remember in Shakespeare Love, the director said the same thing to me, where I had to tell Gwyneth Paltrow, who's obviously playing a boy, who's a girl playing a boy, and I had to say, I said, that woman is a man. Yeah. And he goes, the director said, can you go a bit bigger? I said, do you know to whom you're speaking? He goes, yeah, but I just need it bigger. So he went up there and he gave everything. He goes, that man is a woman. He goes, I went so big, I got lighthearted, and I collapsed and I fainted. And then when I came to, Ben Affleck said to me, you're my hero. It was just, he's so full of brilliant theatrical.
It's a real...
I wrote something for radio years ago, Omid, and Ken Campbell, the great Ken Campbell, fine actor, was in it. And he was quite a, he was a very distinctive actor.
Oh, yeah.
And he turned up, did the read-through for the radio, started to do it. And he wasn't himself. He was turned it down to about 7. And the director had to say to him, would you do it? Would you kind of Ken Campbell it up a bit? And he went, oh, I get the idea. And then off he went. So sometimes maybe people
always say, is that too much? I never know.
Yeah. So when's the film out, Omid?
Well, it's out as soon as the international sales agents called Kaleidoscope, they're in Cannes right now. Yeah. And I think that once we get a few international sales and if there's a lot of buzz, we'll probably release it pretty soon, I'd say. Excellent. So that's why they've said, let's put the trailer out and get a bit of buzz going.
We'll look out for it.
I just want to say, I saw you on the Celebrity Chase last week.
Yes.
Taking an absolutely mad offer. It was about 120 grand, but unfortunately...
Oh, my God. 120, yeah.
It didn't quite come
I was 2 away. I had 2 chances to win it, and I blew it. I couldn't believe it. It was you don't realise how gutting it is. And in fact, Anne Hegarty gave me a standing ovation and said... that's the most entertained I've ever been. And you knew a lot of things that I didn't know. So I nearly did it. And I'd only got 3,000 in the cash builders. So nobody had any hopes. I just thought, I'm not going to be any good to the when we get into the final chase. So let's go for the big amount. And I nearly got it. So it
was unlucky.
That's been repeated many times. Yeah.
So who would be your choice, Omid, for next Chelsea manager? You're making the decision.
Oh, well, it's a very good question. I know there's talk of Xabi Alonso. There's talk of Areola from Bournemouth. To get a Spaniard in would be great. Obviously everybody wants Luis Enrique, but there's no way. But I would go for Areola. I think he's shown himself to be someone who's very savvy. Bournemouth, I've always said, have played great football, and we just need someone who can get the crowd going with some proper football. Being a Chelsea fan at the moment it's been a joke, and there's a lot of Chelsea fans have been saying, in fact, that we probably will lose every league game, and hopefully the new manager will come in with no European football to think about. But then again, I saw the Tottenham game yesterday. I thought, hello, this could be interesting. Man City are playing tomorrow, which gives them only 4 days recovery before the cup final, 3 days. Chelsea could actually beat City in the final and then go and beat Tottenham. And traditionally, Chelsea always finish the season really well and keep the fans happy. So I'm looking forward to this next week, and I'm also looking forward to a Spanish manager. And I saw basically Andy was nodding his head, so I think he agrees that we want someone.
Absolutely. All the best managers are Spanish.
Yeah, all the best managers are Basque. You come from the same place.
If you look at the 3 Euro finals, our producers pointed this out before the show, that they're all from a Basque.
Yeah, history. That's right. Yeah, that's it. That part.
Let's not discount Cesc Fabregas as well. Fabregas is doing very well.
Yeah. A bit soon for him, I think.
It might be a bit. He's enjoying himself at Como, I think, at the moment. He'll probably do at least another year there. But are you still playing, Omid? You still turning out now and again, or not?
No, not really. I had a hip replacement. It's really interesting. You play. The guy said to me, "You'll need a hip replacement soon." I said, "Well, I can still play football." He goes, "There'll be a moment, I reckon, in about a year and a half, where you will think." I remember, literally, I got the ball, and John Bishop just took the ball off me without even blinking, and then next minute, I was trying to get past David Baddiel, which I usually do, and he just nicked the ball off me. So I said, "You know what?
That was the moment when David Baddiel takes the ball off you. It's time to hang your boots up."
He took the ball off and he nutmegged me, and I thought, that's it. Literally in the third minute, I was in goal for the rest of the time, and I literally 4 days later had the hip replacement.
Omid, good to talk to you as always. Thanks for joining us. Best of luck with the film. Thanks very much. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Take care. Cheers.
About a Bell with Omid Djalili and that fine cast will be coming to a cinema near you soon. We did ask you about pre-match music. Diego Dallo's music is kind of samba derivative, not going down well with some of the boys in the United dressing room. This comes from Lee in Stourbridge. You have to be very careful with the pre-match music, fellas. He said, we had a Sunday League Cup match in the 90s and we blasted out Firestarter by the Prodigy pre-match. We ended up getting 5 players sent off.
Really?
You can get too fired up, can't you?
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, let us know. We've had some good stories coming in about I was in charge of the music or people inflicting that on you, whether it's in sport or otherwise. Talksport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J 0371 722 3344. We will be joined in the studio a little bit later on by a man who went on an odyssey to photograph and chat to all the World Cup goal scorers, and he got practically all the ones that are still with us. So we'll be chatting to him, Craig Hignett, ahead of Saints Boro tonight. That's all to come.
I've spent the season, in fact, the last few seasons, absolutely hammering VAR as one of the most disgraceful, shocking, inconsistent, outrageous and pathetic inventions in the history of world sport. And I would like to make a sincere and humble apology right now to VAR, which I think is a massively misunderstood, brilliant invention that I think should be the template for world sport for the next few decades. No, look, let's be serious. I think that I don't like VAR. I think VAR has sucked the joy out of watching football. I think the constant delays, the constant waiting around, the constant ruining of magical moments because you're never quite sure if it's going to count. I don't like any of it. And I would rather go back, honestly, to the days when we relied on a guy in a black outfit who was going to decide whether it was a goal or not, and with the help of his linesman. Because VAR, I don't think any real football fan likes this because it's so inconsistent. And ultimately, it depends anyway on human beings who've shown themselves to be remarkably frail when it comes to making good decisions. Now, having said that, yesterday, I felt that they made the right decision. They took 5 minutes to get there, and obviously as an Arsenal fan, I would say that. But most independent observers think that there was a clear, I think, double foul on Ray. You've got Pablo with his arm trying to throttle him, and you've got another guy pulling his shirt from the back. So I think it was definitely a foul. But has it been consistent? Have Arsenal got away with murder with similar situations, particularly from our corners where we've been barreling into goalkeepers and defenders all season? Of course it's wrong.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
I'm Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon. Middlesbrough are likely to huff and puff over Southampton's Spygate allegations, but will they blow the house down? talkSPORT's Simon Jordan's not convinced the Football League will want to disrupt the race for promotion too much.
I can't imagine the EFL are going to want to pull Southampton out of the playoffs and change the whole direction and integrity of one of the biggest games in English football, one of the most broadcast games with the biggest value attached to it.
A new statement from the Saints CEO says the club is cooperating with an investigation, but they haven't denied spying on Boro's training sessions. Southampton and Middlesbrough are goalless heading into tonight's playoff second leg. You can hear that live from 7 this evening on talkSPORT. A United club legend has backed Michael Carrick to take the reins permanently at Old Trafford, but only because the likes of Thomas Tuchel and Luis Enrique are unavailable. 11-time Premier League winner Paul Scholes has told talkSPORT the demands on Carrick will be high.
Whatever position with it, no, we've not won it for 13 years, but we will still expect this job in August. We will expect Michael to challenge for the league. Now, people will have to taper their expectations, people at the club, the fans, because it's probably not going to happen for 2 or 3 years.
Scholes was a bit more positive about United going after Elliot Anderson this summer. On England, Scholes thinks informed Morgan Rogers should start at 10. The World Cup gets underway in 30 days' time. Next, Danny Rowell says he's been given assurances about his future at Ibrox by the Rangers board. That despite 3 straight league defeats. At the other end of the table, Kilmarnock can secure their Premiership status with a win against Dundee tonight. Plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A third minister has quit Sir Keir Starmer's government today, and the World Health Organisation admits more hantavirus cases are expected. More from Amelia at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. The season's changing, so get your car's shim pads and studs checked for spring with a free vehicle safety check. Book in centre or at quickfit.com today.
Cloud and rain moving southeastwards across England and Wales this afternoon. Sunnier spells in the northwest with the odd shower and blustery winds.
talkSPORT can confirm Southampton Football Club has today been charged with a breach of EFL regulations.
Here's Manning there with the cross. Oh, with Bellis, so he's hit the frame of the goal with a header.
Are you accepting that the spying actually happened?
Any more questions about Tuesday night's game? Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
I think it's a little bit more like it's bad form, gentlemen. I think it's a little bit more than realistically speaking, that it's a massive advantage in the game.
3-on-2 here now for Middlesbrough. This ball from McGree is important. It's into Conway. Oh, he's hit the post. He was all on his own.
Weird situation. Couldn't believe my eyes or ears when I heard it. Couldn't believe when he told me for the second time.
would have thought.
The home side here at the Riverside have dominated a team in terms of the numbers and the chances, but they failed to score, they failed to win the game, and it means heading into Tuesday night, it's Middlesbrough 0, Southampton 0.
Harry, what have you made of all of this latest alleged Spygate controversy?
If you're going to do it, don't get caught.
That's a good
Oh, Perry, it's to the nub of it. So, yeah, it's added a bit of spice. Not that it really needed it.
It's affected Southampton's karma, I think. Everybody wanted Southampton to do well. Now people are annoyed with them. It seems it's not a good situation.
Yeah. There is some talk that it could rumble on were Boro to lose tonight, but I'm sure they want to get it done on the pitch, as will our next guest, the former Boro striker, Craig Hignett. Hi, Craig.
Evening. Or is it afternoon?
Oh, it
depends where you are, really.
Yeah, it depends where you are, but we take it you're in Middlesbrough, so it's definitely the afternoon there as well. So, yeah, it's added a bit. Are struggling a bit with the line. We'll try and get Craig back in a minute. In the meantime, we asked you about, we mentioned Diego Dallo playing his samba music in the dressing room. Some of the Manchester United players not like it. It sounded pretty good to us. My girlfriend and I went on a coach trip to Rotterdam to see Springsteen in 1984. We got on the bus in London and the driver asked everyone if they had any music to play. For some reason, I had an old tape of the Pointer Sisters' greatest hits lurking in the bottom of my bag, which I handed to him. He proceeded to play it constantly all the way to Rotterdam and back. I honestly never listened to the Pointer Sisters since, says Tim, the Leeds fan. We're going to talk a bit about hotels in the States later on. It's 30 days to the World Cup, and they're struggling to get rid of some of the rooms. And this is coming from Nicholas. He says the normal hotels that are usually in the $150 range per night are charging $750 during the World Cup. I found a Howard Johnson budget chain for $350. Normally, their rate is $61. And then they have the nerve to complain about not getting enough bookings.
And the annoying thing about that is you spend $350, but you get a $61 room.
Exactly.
It's really depressing.
Anyway, we've gone to the old tech to chat to Craig. Hello again, Craig.
Hello.
Yeah, there we are.
Perfect.
We're on the telephone now. So, yeah, we were saying it's added a bit of spice to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they've been caught cheating, and it always adds a little bit of spice. You know, it's I don't really know what they're thinking of, if I'm honest. You know, to send someone up and do all this. You know, are they going to get a massive advantage from it? It depends what information he's got, doesn't it?
Not now he's had all his photos deleted.
Kim Hellberg was upset, though, wasn't he? He just said, I mean, you could tell he was, he didn't laugh it off, the Borough manager. He was properly upset by what had gone on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is serious. When you're going for the Premier League, you've got a big playoff game. You're making your plans for your team. You pick your team. You do your tactics. And it's a massive advantage if the opposition manager knows what you're going to do and knows whether you're going to play 3 at the back, 4 at the back, knows what type of game you're going to play, whether you're going to sit back, whether you're going to have a go at them. So it's a huge advantage for an opposition team to know the tactics.
And they've got this momentum, Southampton. You wonder if this might affect it a little bit.
It seemed to affect it the other night.
On the pitch, it could play into Borough's hands, couldn't it?
Listen, you do wonder about that momentum as well, don't you? If it's the first time they've done it or whether they've just been caught at it. If you believe reports, there's other clubs who've now come forward. Listen, I don't know. I don't know how long they've been doing it. They have been caught. They've been caught red-handed. I think Boro have got all the evidence that they need. The EFL have got a massive problem because they can't sort it out before this game. They're going to have to wait and let it all go. If they did do it quickly, obviously Southampton, you would imagine, would appeal it. So it's a bit of a mess. I think the best thing for everyone is for Middlesbrough just to win the game tonight, and then the EFL can take the time when they're dealing with it.
Apart from
I'm not sure they're looking at it like that.
Southampton fans might not agree.
Southampton are looking at it. I feel sorry for their fans.
Yeah.
That their clubs put them in that position.
Sure, it's true. It's not the fault of the fans. It's not the fault of the players, is it?
No, it's not. It's the football club that's put them in a position, and you wonder how high it's gone up and who's known. Claiming a lone wolf, I think, is a little bit embarrassing. But listen, we'll find out, I'm sure, in due course what went on.
I don't think they'll be thrown out or points deducted or anything.
As Craig says,
it's going to be a fine.
I think they should get the worst penalty to stop teams doing it again. So if if they just fine them and they get promoted to the Premier League, a £5 million fine, what's that? That's nothing. And it would be worth other clubs actually going and spying for a playoff game, because the rewards are so much more than £5 million.
Sure.
So they need to protect the honesty and integrity of the game, and to stop other teams from even thinking about doing it. And the only way to do that, if you want to give them a fine, give them a fine. Give them a points deduction as well if they're in the league. Throw them out of the competition.
Wow.
And it's harsh, but to stop everyone doing it, that's the only thing the EFL, for me, can do that will protect the honesty and integrity of the game.
I don't think they'll do that.
I'd be surprised, but you never know. Let's see what happens on the pitch.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they will. I don't think they've got the backbone for it.
Boro, for a long time, looked like they were coming up automatically. Do you think that is going to be an issue, or that's just been parked now? It's they're not thinking about that.
No, I think it's been part of. They've played so well all year between both boxes. They've let themselves down because they haven't been clinical enough in front of goal. They've created so many chances, and the strikers just, they lost a bit of form at the wrong time where they just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. But that's not just strikers; it's the whole team. They've created so many chances. I mean, if you look at the shot stats compared to conversion rates, it's probably one of the worst in Europe. They have so many shots and create so many chances, but don't put enough of them away, and that's why they've fell away at the end of the season.
I read that Hayden Hackney is out tonight. It's a big blow.
Is he really? Oh wow, that is a blow. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he'll want to come up and play for Boro, but the feeling is if they don't make it, he'll probably be off. There's so much demand for him. Everybody wants Hayden Hackney. So do you sense they kind of need to win to keep him?
Yeah, that's the only way they'll keep him. But even then, that's not guaranteed, because he's had such a good season and he's been such an important part of the team and an important player for them, that there'll be other Premier League clubs who'll look at him. They did last year. He turned a move down to Ipswich. But there's been so many more clubs. He's had another brilliant season. And there'll be plenty of suitors for Hayden in the summer. There's no doubt about it. And it's a huge blow for Boro that he's not going to be involved in these games, because, you want your best players playing, and Hayden, by far and away, has been that.
Well, we know it's Hull now after they beat Millwall. So, there's always that feeling that, Saints might get the job done at home, but maybe Millwall felt that last night, but Hull stepped up. So you're feeling confident?
I don't think you'd ever feel confident, do you? But funnily enough, Boro have been better away from home than they have at home. I think they're unbeaten in 6 away. They play well away from home. It'll all hinge on whether Boro can put their chances away, because they'll make them. But I do think they'll need to score 2 to win the tie.
Right. Well, enjoy the game, Craig. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
I'll try to. Thanks, fellas.
All the best. It's Craig Hignett there, the former Boro striker. That one is live this evening from St Mary's. Adrian Durham is going to join us for a chat later. Jim Proudfoot and Scott Minto, your commentary team. We'll look ahead to that game in a bit more detail and some of the other big stories of the day with Adrian later on in the show. Don Charles will be joining us later this hour. Daniel Dubois' trainer's going to pop in, and we'll reflect on the Wardley fight and what's next for Daniel. We're here, of course, with our very good friends at Toolstation. Only got time for one stop? Then your first stop should be Toolstation.
Christ on a bike. If you don't win it from now, in terms of beating Burnley and beating Crystal Palace, they've got nothing to play for either side, then you don't deserve to be champions, do you?
And so what would you be doing then on that Monday afterwards? Would you be coming in on that bank holiday so you can give it to me?
You'd be saying,
would you not bother turning up if Arsenal win it?
It's not about giving it to you. It's about holding things to account. No one's really interested in your personal objectives.
So we're so close to this. So at the end of the day...
The question is, do you now think that Arsenal should now win the league?
They're in as good a position...
So if they don't win the league now, that would be relatively inexcusable.
Why is he... When we get...
And if City were in this position,
just a minute,
I'd be saying the same thing.
Why were you
was a City bias.
Why were you not saying that at the beginning of last week? When Man City were in that position, when Man City get a point,
because I'm delighted,
only a point.
I'm delighted that Man City, because I'm delighted that Man City aren't going to win the league. Who wants a monopoly?
Who wants it?
That? Well, why wouldn't I do? I'm not frightened of saying things. You seem to be unwilling to say certain things. You don't want to name pundits.
No, because I've been in this journey before.
Yeah, because you're
they're very flippant. It's very flippant
to what people are going to say.
Well, it's very flippant to dismiss.
Put your proverbial on the block and say it, and people will criticise you or they won't criticise you.
I think quietly behind the scenes.
Have they won it, Martin?
No, they haven't won it, Jim. They've got 2 games to play. Look at Man City, what we're dealing with, and it creating an energy. Will Pep be there? Won't he be there? Bernardo Silva hanging up his boots to go somewhere else. There's a drive and an energy to get to the finishing line. You're up against Pep here. Let's not discount that. You have to earn this.
You're not up against Pep. You're up against Burnley and Crystal Palace.
That's it.
And if you don't beat Burnley and Crystal Palace...
No, it's like a tug of war.
No,
you're on that rope, and that rope's starting to come Arsenal's way.
Right.
To get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win, because we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a massive £25,000.
Oh my God.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
Now, when young players sign contracts, one of the first things they obviously want to go and do is buy a lovely flash car. And often that's a kind of sports car, high-performance car, despite the fact they probably only passed their test in some cases about 6-8 months before. It is an issue, and it's being addressed by our next guest. Sean Whiter was involved in a life-changing hit and run a few years back. He was a non-league footballer, and he lost both legs after a terrible accident, but he wanted some good to emerge from a terrible accident, and he now goes into academies and football clubs around the country, chatting to the players about the consequences of their actions, potentially, before they get behind the wheel. He's joined by Matt Himsworth from B5 Consultancy. They work together going into the clubs. Good afternoon, guys. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So, Sean, when you go into the clubs and when you initially start chatting to the guys, is it very obvious that you've lost your legs?
No. So this is the thing that we try and make it as impactful as we can. And that I look like, let's say, the boring IT man that's sort of sitting behind the desk, and I managed to put a tablecloth just across the desk there and hide in the big reveal. I explain a little bit about my background story of playing non-league football, as you've just said there, and then a little bit about me of how I loved football. I love being around sport. And then what I end up doing is just literally bum shuffling down with no prosthetics on, no legs on, the big reveal, come out, and you just watch the jaws from the places, or the jaws of the faces just, as they say, hit the floor. And the realisation, as you say, you've got, let's say, 18 to 20 boisterous players in there just come in from a training session just to have this realisation of that, oh God, there's a man there with no legs who the night before pre-season, who was kicking a ball very much like these guys and these players. And that got taken away from me. And so having that impact to go to them and to lie there and to say and explain a little bit about the story and be, look, I remember all of it. I remember just lying there. I remember just reaching out. I remember going into like that plank position and just holding onto some grass and just saying to them. And then we give a little bit of facts and say, look, come on then, lads, how many pints of blood have you got in you? And you get some random numbers and you get some crazy numbers of 100 pints and bits. And you're well, you're a couple of big fellas. But you explain to them then that, I lost 6 pints of blood on the side of the road. You've got 8. And the reason why I was still alive is being a non-smoker and a footballer. I wasn't at any of that level of where these academy players are in any way. I put my hands up to that. But you're just there trying to give them that impact, and then you've got them within the room. I throw the little legs on, the little stubbies, and then able to be on a level with them and talk to them and just try to say as much as you've explained there, is that it's the ripple effect of what happens from that of that night. So, like I say, it's not a stop story in any way. I'm very, very lucky to still be alive. And so, it was a little bit of a project MBE of how could I get into as many clubs? How can I give back to football? Because at that time, as we know, football has been great to me, and they rallied round for when I needed it. So
Ipswich especially, who got you in to do some coaching there, didn't they?
Yeah, I got in and I was back on the grass. They gave me the place and said, look, go and find an area. What can you go and do? And I was able to get back in with the under-13s, and it's been great because I was then able to go and see them and go and talk to them. And instead of being the coach on the robot legs, they actually heard what the story and what the implications, how it all came about.
Yes, it's true, because you wreck other people's lives, but you wreck your own life.
And
that's prison or whatever.
From the club's point of view, you do a lot of educational programs, of which Sean is part of that at the clubs. From the club's point of view, it kind of feels like a no-brainer to get someone like Sean in, just to explain, just to check some of these guys where it's all gravy for them, really. They've probably signed contracts. They've suddenly got a lot of money at a young age. They want to go out and buy this big performance car. It's the status symbol. It's like saying I'm arrived. You can understand it. But there can be consequences of that. We've seen some high-profile incidents, haven't we? Which kind of shows that it's not to be messed with, especially maybe with some people in sort of inexperienced drivers.
Yeah. I've got a view in terms of these high-power cars that the top professionals have. You should go on extra training courses to be able to drive those. I wouldn't trust myself. I can't afford to buy one of those, but I wouldn't trust myself to buy a car like that. Sean does himself down saying that he looks like the IT guy. Sean's in incredible shape, and that's an important point. To be able to walk on prosthetic legs, you've got to be in incredible shape. Yeah. So
we didn't see him on his stag do, but there we are. when he first got them, I should declare an interest. His dad is a mate of mine, so
no amount of beer on his stag do will undo the good work that he's done in the gym. And it's an important point. The shock and awe value is really important. There's a great Jamaican phrase which I won't say in patois because I'll embarrass myself, but he who won't hear will feel. So to hear Sean's story is so incredibly important for these lads, and to actually see the physical impact on him is really, really important. But what's so important about Sean, a few things. One, it's not just about driving. It's about the life lessons that he has from it. He talks about gratitude a hell of a lot. He's grateful for what he has got rather than what he lost. He talks about resilience and letting go of anger. There's a great analogy that I'm going to steal it and use it on the radio right now that Sean uses is, ask how many of you boys have been rattled in a tackle, lose your head, chase that lad around for the rest of the game trying to kick him, then you get yourself sent off and you've let everyone down. That element of Sean's situation is so important. I think you've said before you don't even know the name of the guy that hit you. I don't think that's quite true, but that's the point he's trying to make. Of course, he still feels angry about what happened to him, but he lets that go and then he ploughs it into his good work. And then the other important thing to say, right, because that's why I'm glad I'm here, because Sean might say these great things about himself because he's so modest and humble. Everything he does is about helping out other people. There's a story we tell during the session which is really important. There's 2 little boys called Aaron and Ben Peake. They're on their way to Silverstone one day with their dad. got hit by a drink driver. Both boys died on the road that day. In fact, one died in hospital, one died on the road. We were given the opportunity to run a half marathon at Silverstone.
Yeah.
And Sean said, I'll do it as long as Matt does it with me. I said, well, why you asked me to do that? And he said to me, Aaron and Ben didn't get to go to Silverstone that day. We get to do that. And it's a really important point he says to the lads, right? You can moan about rehab, you can moan about bad things that happen in your football career. And by the way, all these lads are going to have really tough things happen. You can moan about them, or you can say, I get to do it. And just playing football in and of itself is a wonderful thing to do. And it's the one thing. He's been up Snowdon, he's done rowing, he's run marathons, but one thing he can't do is play football.
Yeah.
Because you require to bend, move your knees, move your hips and all that. Although we've got a lovely video of him playing, inverted commas, football with Natasha Dowie, the former Liverpool and England player. Tash does some work with us. We went to the Chelsea Academy, watched their under-16s train, went in that lovely bit of
in the
inside dome. Thank you very much, Sean. And there's a lovely video of like Sean just doing some simple passes. But even that, like, he does himself down. It's better than most lads would have been at football. And then all of a sudden, legs gone, can't play football ever again. But what you do get to do, how he inspires people, like you can hear in my pride.
Something, that you said before we started, when you were talking about it now being written into contracts for young players, that they can only have a certain type of car. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so some clubs are making sure they don't have these.
Yeah, we've been, the clubs have taken the information on board, and let's say with the first year scholars have now been, they've worded it in their contracts, one, that they would be formally on business insurance, because effectively these players are assets. So if, let's say that me and you are in the car and we've had an accident, it was my fault, you're going to potentially come off, you've ruined my career.
Yeah.
You could be this £100 million player that could have been going on somewhere, and you're going to need that insurance back on that side of it. But the clubs have invested back into the players by saying, look, we would like you to have a car of an engine source of, let's say, 1.1 as an engine for your first year scholarship, and then after that, then let's review that and go forward, or a car of a monetary value to stop. So they are buying and looking forward to trying or finding ways to help and to look after the players.
And Paul, you said it's a short career, football, and we never know what's around the corner. A terrible ACL injury, never get back to it. You signed your first pro at 17, you earned a huge amount of money. By the age of 21, you're out of contract and you can't get another contract anywhere else. I obviously we can't give any details of people we've been talking to, but I remember talking to a 17-year-old boy who signed a very good contract, and I looked out at the car park and I said, which one's yours? Now, I know nothing about cars, but he pointed to something which looked like a monstrosity to me.
Yeah.
He paid a fortune for it. I said, how much you paid in terms of insurance? He said he paid something like £5,000 up front, £500 a month. I said, go and get me that cash, I'll set it on fire now for you.
Yeah.
He's just throwing that money away because he's actually gone on and played first team football, so he's fine.
Yeah.
But if he'd had that terrible ACL, lads come from a working class background, he's earned a hell of a lot of money, he's 21 and he's in a situation like Sean's at that point. He's had that wonderful thing taken away from him. He's not earning the same money. How much would that help him in the long run if you didn't?
I read some of the testimonials on the website, guys, from players, and they admit, I mean, there's that shock factor of you suddenly saying, this is my story, this is what happened to me, and but also that they say, I found it really interesting and it has made me think, and it has, and if that's all you want, isn't it?
That is it. They just want that impact value. And let's say now with the social media world, and when I get that little message, when I get home, I've driven away from the training ground, I've got home, and I've got a little private or a DM message from one of the players saying, thank you for coming in today. That's like my winning goal feeling. That's me scoring in the 90th minute. That was that, just there to go, okay, I have made a difference. Or recently that we're very lucky that the Chelsea women's team, I'd just been away, I got home and there's a box at the house, and I'm rattling it around thinking, what's that? And it turns out it's a football that all the girls had all signed, and it signed their independent and personalised to me, saying thank you for coming in today, or from last week. Here's a little gift, a little memento from us. So something like that they've bought in and they've taken it on board, they've taken the time from it, and that's the winning goal feeling.
Yeah. Sean's a Chelsea fan, but his dad and his brother are both Spurs fans, so he doesn't want to relegate. But I bet he doesn't say that next Tuesday when they score.
Like me, I was hoping Spurs won last night because I don't really want to go into that game with that on the line.
No, that's it. We all know the history of the club and both clubs, Tottenham, West Ham. A lot of history there in both of them clubs there. So sadly, whoever it does fall to.
Be a bit easier for you if it's West Ham, probably.
I do.
Sean, thank you for coming in.
No,
keep doing what you're doing. And Matt, so if people go to the B5 Consultancy website, they can find out more. They can maybe get Sean in if there's any clubs listening today.
If there's anyone, Paul, On Tuesday, we're in a financial services provider talking about it, and it's Sean's story can be applied to
absolutely.
Anyone. You know, everyone should expect high standards of themselves. And in terms of driving, you know, when I drove to the station this morning, you park next to someone when the traffic lights are there, and you see their face light up.
Yeah,
you know, they're checking their phone at traffic lights. You know, we don't pay enough attention on the roads. Right? More people are hurt on the roads than in any other accidental situation. It's so important we pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
But also there's so much we can take from Sean's story in general terms. If he can achieve everything that he's achieved and worry about other people and have purpose, you know, we can all do something brilliant.
Good to see you both. Thanks for coming in.
You.
Sean, thank you, mate.
Thank you for the
very
time.
much. B5 Consultants, if you want to go and check out and get Sean to come in with Matt and have a chat with you. It's Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on Talk Sport. Don Charles is popping in. Daniel Dubois' trainer will reflect, of course, on the big fight at the weekend.
I'm going to go Friday after work pint, number 5, mate.
Number 5.
There he is. So do you want it? You ready?
Yeah, go on.
In number 5.
Number 5.
Friday after work pint. You've worked hard all week. You know, you want to go there, just have that first pint. You've earned it.
Number 4.
Beer garden pint. This can happen any time of day.
Good pint.
Any time, any day of the week. Yeah. Saturday afternoon, meet the lads. Sunday afternoon.
Good pint.
Right, sun's got to be
Number 3.
Football pint. The football pint's in. You meet your lads, meeting up Saturday afternoon or Sunday, whatever it is. First pint, in you go. Hey, we're going to get a beer again.
Yeah.
Number 2.
The holiday pint. Mr. O'Hara wants that one. Yeah. When you get there, you've done the journey. You've gone through everything you need to do. Passport, security checks, the journey. You get out, you smell, you feel a bit grubby. Don't care. You get on the, wherever you get to then you get to your destination. Bags get dropped. Sit there. You've earned this pint.
Yeah, it's a good pint.
Good pint.
That's my favourite.
There you go.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Airport. It's the only one, mate. Airport pint. It's the only one. You're there. It doesn't matter what time. Not with lads. No. Doesn't matter who you're with. If you're with me, 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3, whatever it is, that's the point.
Do you know what's disappointing in this whole, ranking that we've done?
Have I missed something?
Yeah, well, your missus. There's not one pint that involves your missus. Not one. Where's Hannah in this?
I'm at the airport with her.
No, you're not. You're not at the airport with her. You're with Razor Ruddock.
No, hold on.
Hold on.
No.
Hannah's involved in none of these pints.
No, hold on. I'm at the airport with her, definitely. I'm definitely with a holiday pint. I'm definitely with a football. I'm definitely not.
We're told to expect a nuclear explosion with Southampton and Middlesbrough on a collision course over Spygate. Former Palace owner talkSPORT Simon Jordan thinks the latest statement out of St Mary's will enrage the Boro board.
I think there's very little doubt in Middlesbrough's mind. I think there's very little doubt in the EFL's mind. I think there's very little doubt in Southampton's mind. I think if I read the situation rightly, I think they've already coughed to it to Middlesbrough, and I think they've already coughed to it to the EFL.
The Saints CEO says the club is cooperating with an investigation and has asked for more time to conduct an internal review. Boro are expected to push for sporting sanctions if Saints are found guilty. Tonight's Championship playoff second leg starts goalless. You can hear live commentary on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Now he's taken Manchester United back into the Champions League, so Michael Carrick might expect his old teammates to put a word in for him. Club legend Paul Scholes says in the absence of a Thomas Tuchel or a Luis Enrique, he's the man.
I think appointing Michael will taper expectations a little bit as well. I think expectations are a big thing with Man United. Everybody is involved with a club, whether it's you as a fan, whether it's me as a fan, whether it's people working there. at the start of every season, we expect to be challenging for the league.
Scholes is also urging United to go after Elliot Anderson's signature this summer.
He will still have to test himself in the Champions League, but he looks to me like he'd be able to handle it absolutely no problem.
To find out who Paul Scholes would start in the 10 for England, watch this interview back on our YouTube channel.
A bit of the Don Charles optimism. Just found out he's a fellow Spurs fan. He's giving me a pep talk. He's going to slap me round the face a couple of times next. Get me back in the moment.
You're far away from
Yeah, that's it. Don is Daniel Dubois' trainer. Good afternoon, Don. Good to see you.
Likewise, gentlemen.
We're going to hear a longer chat with you in the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel later on Talk Boxing, but we thought we'd get you in for a quick chat. Thanks for popping in. Congratulations to you and Daniel. It was an amazing fight. I've heard you already say that there were kind of no losers because it takes two to tango. It was a brilliant fight, wasn't it?
Correct. I mean, somebody had to be declared the winner, and that was us. I'm obviously very, very happy about that. But in my eyes, there was no losers on that night. Boxing won in general, and the two men came out of there intact to go back to their families, irrespective of how grueling of a fight it was.
There was a worry that
was good to hear, actually.
Yeah, that he wasn't hospitalised very Wardley.
Yeah.
He was seeing a lot of it. There was a lot of blood, but it seems that it was relatively superficial. I mean, how's Daniel? Because, he didn't take the same amount of punishment, but you never quite know what's going on. Is he all fine after the fight?
He's like the British boxing is probably one of the best in terms of medically, and we're really on top of it. So they were both checked out at the venue before they were asked to go home.
Yeah.
Neither of them needed to go to the hospital. No, Daniel's obviously it's a grueling fight. He's just resting up.
It was brutal, even by heavyweight standards, really. I mean, both of them were just sort of trading.
At the pace they fought at.
Yeah. So, I mean, was that your expectation that it was going to be that kind of fight?
It was always going to be that way. The titles, it says it does what it says on the can. It's that kind of thing. It says don't blink, and basically it couldn't have got a better title for such a fight.
Yeah.
Your man got off to a bit of a rocky start.
Wow, rocky start. That was not part of the plan, I promise you. I mean, that was I was speaking to people and they said, what did it feel like at that moment? I said, time froze for me and my team. Time froze. And it's like, that was not a part of the plan, I promise you.
Yeah. So the slap that kind of brought him back into the room, what was all that about? Because there's been a fair bit of publicity about it, hasn't there, really?
Yeah, it's not something you plan to do. It's just spur of the moment, something I felt that was needed, because it's about being in the present, especially when you're in such a sport, and on the blink of an eye, things can happen. So I needed to bring him to be present, mentally present. That is, like I said, it's not something we premeditated, it's something we planned. No, it's just
it wouldn't work if it did, because that's always the shock factor.
Absolutely. And on this occasion, it spurred him on, brought him to present. Like I said, it's all about bringing him to recognise
in the moment.
Task. Yes.
How it must be difficult because of all the distractions, everything that's going on in the fighters' heads, to get your instructions across. It must be quite difficult in those moments in the corner.
Well, that's where the experience comes into it. I'm 65 years old and I've been coaching for 25 years, and all the experience I've gathered over the last 20 comes into play.
Yeah.
You go into automatic pilot, automatic mode.
And I suppose you have to keep the messages brief and succinct and very clear because they're only taking it in so much. Yeah.
Correct. Don't overload the fighter. They're in confusion. You have to remind them, basically remind them of the game plan and the basic. Go back in any sport. When it starts going wrong, you refer back to fundamentals, basics, and you should have those fundamentals.
We've heard this with football as well. At half time, the managers, if they give them too many messages,
don't overload.
Yeah, don't overload them. Don't keep it simple. Simplicity is always the best.
Yeah. So it was a brutal fight, and there was a feeling that maybe it could have been ended sooner. I just wonder, had you been in Fabio Wardley's corner, would you have called it any sooner or not?
On the night when it was all unfolding, I don't look at the opposition. All my concentration and focus purely on my fighter. This case, it was Daniel Dubois. I knew that we were getting on top. My whole thing is keep going, Daniel, keep going. So I'm not really paying attention to what Fabio, what state he's in or not. I'm not interested. My focus is purely on my fighter sticking to the game plan.
It's difficult for referees because they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. They call a fight
it's
a title fight. It's
Frank
a big
Warren
fight.
was saying
absolutely
he would have called it a bit earlier.
It's so difficult, and because they don't want to be seen to call it too early.
And when you got a character like Fabio Wardley, he has he's all through his career he's always losing round and he pulls it out the bag. So they know they're fighter. They know there's always a chance that he could do what he normally does, pull it out the bag, and that's the only logical understanding that I could see why they left him in there, okay? That he has got that ability and he has proven he's done it so many times. But unfortunately, this time you're in against Daniel Dubois is a very heavy-handed individual.
What's next for Daniel? Let's talk about this rematch, which I think people would love to see, but I guess there's other options as well. So where are we at with that?
We haven't even met as a group to discuss. We're still... me personally, as I sit here, I'm still very flat.
Yeah.
I'm high and flat, just still recovering, getting my energies back. Then we'll have a meeting with the team. Then we'll have a meeting with our trusted promoter. Frank Warren is the one, he's the architect. He's the professor. He's the one who engineers what happens next.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's too premature for me to sit here and tell you what happens next. The truth is, we haven't discussed it, and I don't know.
Moses Toma, potentially. Frank probably wouldn't be too keen to put Daniel and Moses in there.
That's a question for Frank Warren. It's inevitably that will happen in the future. Moses is young. Develop him, give him time. And I'm sure Frank Warren is tested and trialed. He will deliver what's good for our next move.
And you're back in the corner, aren't you, this weekend?
I am
in
indeed.
Doncaster.
I am indeed.
On the Dave Allen undercard. Tony Yoka, one of your fighters, is in action, yeah.
Correct. As you know, he was supposed to have fought 3 weeks ago in Paris against Lawrence Okolie. Unfortunately, the fight got cancelled, and then this is like Queensbury to keeping him busy. So he's on the card, in Doncaster at the weekend.
And you've come into TalkSport today to chat to the guys to us and the boxing YouTube channel, and you've missed the funeral of a kind of boxing character.
A dear brother, dear friend, I've known for many, many years, Tony Sese. He passed away sadly 2 weeks ago, and he was buried earlier on today. And my blessings and spiritually condolences to his family, and great human being who helped everybody.
Yeah. Well, lovely to see you. Congratulations again. It was a fantastic victory and a fantastic fight, and all the best on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank you for having me.
You will hear more from Don with Simon Jordan, Spencer Oliver and Paul Smith on the Talk Boxing show. It'll be available from 8 p.m. on the TalkSport Boxing YouTube channel. And as we said, we're going to bring you Dave Allen, Filip Hrgovic and the undercard as well. Keep you right across that here on TalkSport, or you can watch on DAZN. We're going to be chatting to Michael Donald, the sports photographer who went on an odyssey to photograph and chat to all the guys who scored goals in World Cup finals. That's coming up shortly. We're here with the Tool Station Trade Club. You can save 10% on all electrical and lighting when you buy cable and flexes. First stop, Tool Station.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Afternoon, boys.
So, yeah, as we said earlier on to Andy Brassel, it looks like it was moving on apace, the Jose to Madrid train. So, where are we at?
Yeah, that certainly seems to be the direction of travel. In fact, it's been suggested to me this afternoon that it's virtually agreed now that Real Madrid are going to reunite with Jose Mourinho. Of course, he's in charge of Benfica at the moment. He's had a pretty successful period since returning to Portuguese football, but there is a break clause in his contract at the end of the season that means a club can pay Benfica €3 million. He'll be a free agent, and that will enable him to move on. As I say, I think it will be back to the Bernabeu. I'm fascinated to see how this works out. It's been described to me as Real Madrid's worst season in a number of years. We heard about that dressing room bust-up last week between two of their star players. Obviously, it was a dismal defeat in the Clásico to Barcelona, handing them the title. So there's a lot of work to be done. But it's not the first time that Florentino Perez has gone back to someone that he knows. And I think in Jose Mourinho, they see someone who can come in and assert that dressing room authority that maybe Xavi Alonso struggled with all the egos that they have on their books. And clearly Arbeloa is struggling as well.
Good stuff, Crookie. Thanks very much.
No worries.
There's Alex Crook there, and we'll keep an eye on that story. Andy Brassel was sceptical, I think it's fair to say, earlier on, our European football expert, that was going to work. But the chairman or the president does what the president wants. So we'll see what happens.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win, because we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a massive £25,000. Oh my God. Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
Now, we have many books sent into us here on the show, and it's always the mark of a good book when someone nicks it from the office, which is what happened in this case. The book is called Goal, Intimate Portraits and Interviews with Every Living FIFA World Cup Final Scorer. It also kind of spawned a documentary many years ago. And we had an advance copy, and it got pilfered, which is, I think, a credit to the author. Because Michael Donnell went on an odyssey around the world to photograph all the surviving scorers in World Cup finals, and he got some great war stories from it along the way. Good afternoon, Michael. Good to see you.
Doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So, what was the kind of catalyst for this? What was it? Was it the kind of? Did you want to meet one of them and then it spiraled?
No, I was researching another project about football managers, and I was just sort of idly looking at stats, and this was before 2010, and I just couldn't believe. I mean, at that time, there was only 58 people that had ever scored a goal in the World Cup final, and there was only 34 people alive. So there's 34 people alive in the world that could say, I scored a goal in the World Cup final. So, like a clown, I had to go and meet them all.
Somebody like, I'm just seeing here, because Dick Naninga, he died in 2015. So have you been working on this book for a very long time?
Well, I'd say Dick was interesting. He was the first one we did. And, I mean, it's interesting because you think, oh, yeah, I scored a goal in the World Cup final, but of course, a third of them scored a goal in the World Cup final and lost.
Yeah, of course.
It's sort of the best and worst day of your life. So we interviewed Dick. So we went to we picked him up from work, and he's a bathroom salesman. So he tried to sell me a bathroom, and I was like, no. It's all right. And then he's gone, no, we shipped to the UK, and I'm like, no, it's all right. So we go back to his house, we do the interview, and he's great, and it's because it's in his house. I said to him, have you got your medal from that day? So for anybody that's listening that doesn't know, he scored for Holland in 78, and that amazing, Argentina was amazing, the ticker tape and everything.
Yeah.
So he said, yeah, he's got the medal, and he sent his wife off to get the medal, and she comes back about 15 minutes later, this beautiful little box with FIFA on the front, and he holds it out to the camera for the film we're doing, and he opens it, and I sort of look in, and I went, what is that? And he had won a competition in karaoke, and he'd come first, but he wasn't given a box. So he thought that the appropriate thing to do would be to take his loser's medal out of the box and put the karaoke medal in. And he never found the medal.
No, really?
Yeah. So then we did a bit of karaoke, and he said, let's go to the pub. So we all went to the local pub. He lives in southern Belgium. Flemish and Dutch are the same, apparently.
Yeah.
So we end up in the local pub, and he sort of knows everybody. It's just walking distance from his house, and we're a crew of about 7 or 8. And I was talking to the landlady behind the bar. We've been there for about an hour, and I was talking to the landlady behind the bar, and she said, well, what are you all doing here? And I said, oh, we're here because of Dick.
Yeah.
And she sort of does eyes to the sky, and she goes, oh, what's Dick done now? And in all the years he'd been going there, he'd never mentioned that he scored a goal in the World Cup final.
Wow.
Very modest bloke.
That tells you the profile of these guys, that they have to go on and get real jobs after they'd played for their countries.
Pre-86, post-86, they all had enough money. I mean, if you think about it now, every player that goes to the World Cup finals is going to be a millionaire.
Yeah,
but that pre-86, whenever you finish, you remember back in the day, even in England, you had your testimonial and you bought a pub, and that was it.
Yeah.
I don't think Mbappe would be selling kitchens.
Imagine the idea you go meet. He says, we do ship to the UK.
I'd buy a kitchen from Mbappe.
Yeah. But then you get the other end of the scale, where you get Andres Iniesta, who was a tougher person to get hold of. It was Pep who kind of made this happen from your point of view, wasn't it?
I mean, Pep sort of got what we were doing, and he thought, right, it would be inappropriate to not have him included.
Yeah, because you've got layers of people to get through to get to these players these days, haven't you?
Well, it's interesting because some of the older ones, we had local producers, and they just found out where they were, and they called them up. But of course, the younger ones, Iniesta and Götze, there is layers and layers of people to get to them, and they have to sort of get it, get what the project's about, because they're asked to do everything. But I mean, the interesting or not interesting thing about Iniesta and Götze, for example, really, really delightful young men, but all they do is play football.
Yeah.
So if we kept doing it, it would just be every 4 years, it would be sort of 22, 25-year-old multi-millionaires, whereas some of the stories, from back in the day, and now you see them, even just the way things change, you see them getting off the bus, and they've all got the headphones on, they're all on their phones, whatever. And one of the questions I asked everybody was, what music did you listen to on the bus on the way to the stadium? And Boro, who scored the winner in '86 for Argentina, he told us that for every match in the World Cup finals, the last 2 songs they had to listen to in the bus was the theme music from Rocky and Bonnie Tyler, I Need a Hero, which we thought was brilliant. So then about a month later, we interviewed Valdano at Real Madrid, and Valdano's he's like a proper grown-up, really smart suit, really suave or whatever, and we asked him if he remembered listening to any music in the bus, and of course he must have remembered, because he did it for every single match. But on the day of the final, the hotel they were staying in was too close to the stadium. So whenever they got to in Mexico, Azteca Stadium, they hadn't finished Bonnie Tyler, so they wouldn't get off the bus. So you can imagine commentary all over the world going, "Oh, I wonder if there's some trouble. They're not getting off the bus." It's like, no, they're listening to Bonnie Tyler.
That's brilliant.
We mentioned it to Valdana. He was really embarrassed. He denied it.
I'll tell you what is striking about this book is your portraits of these players.
Because this wasn't your first rodeo, was it? You're sort of seasoned photographer.
I mean, that's primarily what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, that photo of Bonacena is absolutely talking about character etched on the face.
No, thank you.
Well, this is the other thing, getting the players to pose. So often with a lot of these older players, they probably gave you a fair bit of their time and were kind of quite honoured to be part of this exclusive club. But as time goes on, you've got somebody over your shoulder saying, "You got 10 minutes. You've got 5 minutes."
I mean, I think that's the way of the world. It's just, I'll tell you, with this, you're looking at Carlos Alberto there. So we shot Carlos Alberto in the Maracanã, and we sort of did the interview. And then if you think about it, in all the South American tunnels, you go down underground and then up on the pitch. And I wanted to shoot him in the tunnel, so I went down and sort of pre-lit it with my Stevie, who's actually a sound guy. And then what you do is you pre-light it, and then they stand out, and the talent stands in. But the museum, the grounds open as a museum, and they said they wouldn't close it until Carlos Alberto was there. And for people that don't know, it's the greatest goal in World Cup final.
Paul doesn't think that.
I don't think so.
We can talk about that later.
It's going to take you to task about that.
Yeah.
I think it's a great game.
Yeah, well, it tends.
Italy had given up. Italy had given up by then. They just let them stroke it about.
Okay. Well, Pele's assist was the greatest assist. But we were shooting in the tunnel, and people were still walking through. That's that photograph, and people walking through just assumed Stevie was famous because we had sort of camera and lights and whatever. And then whenever Carlos Alberto came down, he realised he knew what we were doing, so he stood behind Stevie, and people were thinking, "Oh, this guy must be famous. He's got security," and they just assumed Carlos Alberto was security. And then whenever he stood out and Carlos Alberto stood in, you could see it dawn on people. And we had to call real security then because we couldn't take the picture in the end. We did it up in the grounds.
Some of these people have worn better than others. Brian, it looks great.
I think. Well, look, there's a great Jairzinho story there, and there's so many players that will be familiar. Can you stick around? Is that all right? Because I think we've got a few more stories that we could talk about, if that's okay, because there are a couple more stories. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
All right, we've got to get a little competition out of the way. Once we've done that, we'll pick this up and we'll talk about Jairzinho and some other bits and pieces as well, if that's all right. Thank you. We're chatting to Michael Donald. He's the author of Goal, the book where he spoke to every living FIFA World Cup final scorer. And we'll chat more in a few moments' time.
Is the Anfield crowd continuing to turn, though, on Arne Slot, or can he win back the Liverpool faithful? Just last Wednesday, Danny Murphy finished off this show very strongly by saying, well, the Liverpool fans I know, and they're all diehards, have given up on Slot, and it's time to go. Arne Slot was asked if he feels he can win those disaffected Liverpool fans back.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Not this season, by the way. This season they will have their opinion and it will not change. But if we can have the summer that we are planning to have, then I'm 100% convinced that we will be a different team next season than we are now. Different in terms of results, different in how things look. But it's not always that simple, because sometimes you know what you have to do, but it's not always possible to also get exactly what you want. But for us, for me, it's really clear what we are lacking this season.
Well, the boos rang out, Martin, at full time, and many of the Liverpool fans, Simon, are not having them any longer. One wonders what he's got to do now, or if he has any time left to do what he wants to do and win them back round.
He won the Premier League last year, Jimmy. He's to be given more time, but they seem to have lost their way a little bit. I thought when he went there initially...
More than a little bit, though, Martin.
Yeah, but when he went there initially, like, it was very... I used to say crazy Klopp, but I really liked the energy that he got going, you know, that heavy metal.
It's time now for the sports headlines. We'll keep chatting to Michael Donald very, very shortly. But first, Ben Fletcher has the sport.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon. Do Middlesbrough need to beat Southampton tonight to avoid a major headache for the EFL? Boro are said to be hell-bent on pursuing sporting sanctions for Saints if that spying charge sticks. talkSPORT's Simon Jordan says it's difficult to second-guess how this ends.
This is a massive, massive call. So I don't know how they're going to manage their way through this. If you want two capable individuals to deal with it, you can't get better than Trevor Birch and Rick Parry.
Yeah.
But they are holding together a potential catastrophe.
The Saints CEO says the club is cooperating with an investigation and has asked for more time to conduct an internal review. Tonight's Championship playoff second leg starts goalless. You can hear live commentary on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Next, he's taken Manchester United back into the Champions League, so Michael Carrick might expect his old teammates to put a word in for him. Club legend Paul Scholes says in the absence of a Thomas Tuchel or Luis Enrique, he is the man.
I think appointing Michael will taper expectations a little bit as well. I think expectations are a big thing with Man United. You know, everybody who's involved with a club, whether it's you as a fan, whether it's me as a fan, whether it's people working there, at the start of every season we expect to be challenging for the league.
30 days out from the World Cup, who would Paul Scholes start in the number 10 slot for England? You can find out on the talkSPORT YouTube channel. And Katie Archibald has retired from professional cycling because she says she's fallen in love with a new career as a nurse. The three-time Olympic medalist won't compete for Scotland at this year's Commonwealth Games. Aged 32, Archibald leaves the Great Britain team as the current world and European champion. There's more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Another minister quits as Sir Keir Starmer faces calls to step down, and hundreds of kids are being given weight loss jabs on the NHS. More from Amelia at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep spring journeys safe. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com to book your tyres, MOTs and servicing so you can drive away happy every time.
Blustery showers in parts of the northwest, sunny spells elsewhere, rain moving southeastwards.
We are marking 30 days to the start of the World Cup with author and photographer Michael Donald, who went on an odyssey around the world a few years back to photograph, get intimate portraits, not just snaps, but kind of get them in their natural habitats, those players of yore, and get them to tell their stories. Just 30 days to go until it gets underway. Sadly, since you finished the book, Michael, a number of these people have passed away, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of inevitable in the World Cup. The sort of World Cup as we know it started in 1950. So before that, I mean, I think it was 30, 34, and then it stopped because of the war. So the sort of the World Cup as we know. So yeah, I mean, the numbers it's only going to go one way. I mean, yeah, I think Geisha died last year. We did. I mean, just in terms of how the world's changed, I mean, Geisha scored in the Maracanã in 1950 to beat Brazil, and there was 200,000 people at the match.
It is probably the most seismic goal in the history of the World Cup, isn't it? Because Brazil thought they were going to win it.
Well, the Brazilians to this day have not got over it.
No.
I mean, it's had a bigger impact on the psyche of Brazil than any victory they've ever had.
Yeah.
And Guizu was saying that whenever he scored the winner in, I think it was 79th minute, he said there was 200,000 people there. He said it was silence. He said it was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And then whenever they left the stadium later, they went back to the hotel, and some of the Uruguay delegation were so sure that they were going to lose that they went home the night before the game. They didn't go to the game. So whenever they got back to the hotel, having won the World Cup, they realised that one of the people that had gone home was the treasurer, and they had no money. So they had to have a whip round and send somebody out to buy some sandwiches and beer, and that's the night they won the World Cup.
Wow.
I mean, in terms of how, just the world's changed and what, can you imagine?
Now, you photographed him in a bar in Montevideo, but also, I mean, you didn't just take these people to studios and do this. Like, for example, Jeff Hurst, you actually filmed this at the Hendon Hall Hotel where the team stayed.
Yeah, that was fascinating. I don't know if he'd been back since, but we photographed him in the room he stayed in Hendon Hall the night before the final in '66. Which, that's what we tried to do that as much as possible. Like you say, you're sort of at their mercy in what they're prepared to do and not prepared to do. But, it was always the attempt to sort of put them in some kind of context. Like I said, we shot Carlos Alberto at the Maracanã. But, some of them gave us 15 minutes, some of them gave us a day. So it varied enormously.
The Jairzinho story is an interesting one, the former Brazil player, where you went into a favela to take some pictures of him, and even the security said, "No, I'm not going any further than this.
Yeah.
You're on your own. You're going to have to get local security." Even that got a bit hairy. They dipped off at one point, didn't they?
Well, yeah. So certainly in the favela we were in Rio, the police just wouldn't go in. There's a sort of a steel ring around the favela, and there's armed police along the ring. But they're not there to protect you. They're there to let you know that once you go beyond that, you're on your own. Yeah.
Wow.
So what we had to do, rather than attempt to add, because the locals would think it was insulting if we brought our own security with us. So we hired sort of the security from the local gang, and they were with us. And it got to about 4:00 in the afternoon. And the portrait of Jairzinho with the old football table was the last. It was the last thing we were doing that day, and the security we had, they were just sort of kids with guns, and they just got bored and left. so whenever we were about 8 people, and then the exit to the favela was about 250 meters away. So I was taking that picture, and then I had an assistant sort of holding a light for me. And I could see this guy come down a bicycle towards us, and then I could hear a conversation behind me with our local producer Greta, and Dan, the director, is going, right, we need to go, and I was like, no, it's fine, just hang on. And generally in those situations, you don't stop until the talent goes, right, I've had enough. And so whenever I finished, I turned around, and there's some other guy had come down and pulled the gun on Dan and Greta and just said, right, you're all leaving now. And I stupidly was going, no, we're not. But I hadn't seen him at that point.
Right.
So,
wow.
So yeah, I mean that was scary. But in fairness to Dan, he didn't insist on us leaving. And I'm happy with the picture. So
was there anybody that I see that there's a kind of passing mention of Zidane? Were there people that were just impossible to get really for any?
Zidane was sort of impossible to get, and Pele was very, very difficult to get. We actually flew to Sao Paulo just to do Pele, and in the morning we shot him. We didn't know if he was going to do it or not, and there was a crew of about 6 people flew out to Sao Paulo. We ended up doing it because he it was sort of a roundabout thing. He needed a little bit of filming for a charity that he had endorsed, and he had been asked to do it himself. And we said, we'll do it, and he said, right, okay, and that's how it happened. That was the last day of filming.
Somebody, we've been How to Win the World Cup, our series with Matt Ford. It's been on for a while. Manu Petit's been popping up, and of course he scored in '98. What was that experience like? Was he giving of his time?
I tell you what, he was absolutely brilliant. We shot him at it's a Parc des Princes. What's the stadium in Paris called? And I mean, some of them turned up with people. Some of them, you just turned the page over to Kempes. So he turned up on his own. Gave us all the time he wanted. I actually went home with his winner's medal in my pocket And we did the interview. He left on a scooter, and then we were packing up, and he came back, and he came back on his own. I was wondering, what are you doing? He goes, can I have my medal back? Yeah. Because whenever we were taking the pictures, we did some of the medal, and then he had that World Cup thing, and without thinking about it, I had put it in my pocket. There was no intention of trying to steal it.
I've met some of these.
Phoenix from the Flames.
During fantasy football, Skinner and Badil. It is amazing to meet these people. If you're a football fan, it's incredible, isn't it? I met Kempes.
I mean, a lot of these, I'm imagining these guys as well, that they are incredibly humble. And
I mean, the thing is, the thing I love about this list is that, every time the World Cup comes around, there is this pantheon, the greatest World Cup final ever, the greatest World Cup final goal scorer ever. This is a list. This is an exclusive club. You're either in it or you're not. It doesn't include Cristiano Ronaldo. It doesn't include Maradona, Johan Cruyff. But, it includes, I would be amazed, even like proper sports fans like yourselves, that could look through all these photographs without any names and name every one of them. I mean, obviously some of them have aged enormously. Yeah. But it's sort of the most exclusive club in football. There's so few of them. But, there are some superstars in there, but a lot of them really aren't.
I mean, the interesting thing is that there's iconic pictures of a lot of their goals, aren't they, in many cases? But that's, you're not you're not reproducing those. That's kind of not what you were interested in, was it?
No, I mean, like I said at the start, I was interested in what does it do to a person to, you score a goal in the World Cup final. I mean, for all of them, it did sort of change their lives. And then, of course, some of them scored the winner. But, a lot of them, like Massapus, who took the lead against Brazil in 62. Yeah. He took the lead for 2 minutes, and then that was it. They were never going to win that match. But, he was saying, for 2 minutes, I thought I'd scored the winner in the World Cup final.
The other thing is that a lot of these people are frozen in time. See, so when I look at a picture of Marco Tardelli, I see him with his arms out and his mouth open in his pomp. Yeah. But, with respect to Mark, he's put a bit of timber on things, hasn't he? Haven't we all?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's interesting seeing these people now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing, part of the motivation for me to do it is, a lot of these guys, if you saw them across, a busy restaurant, you wouldn't know who they were. And, and if somebody just nudged you and said, see that guy over there, he scored a goal in the World Cup final, you're sort of like, right, I've got to go and talk to him.
Yeah.
Which was sort of the motivation behind the whole project.
Were you in awe of? I mean, you take lots of pictures of sort of famous people, sort of music industry and film and everything. But were you in awe of any of these guys? Was there someone that you were a bit nervous about meeting?
Everybody has sort of their World Cup final. For me, I'm 59, so my World Cup final was 78. Yeah, so I was 12. So it's sort of you get football, but you haven't discovered girls and partying yet. Yeah. So so that was the most exotic thing I'd ever seen. So Mario Kempes was. He was amazing, but I mean, this is unkind. But we were on, all of them got some money, and we were in the, and it took a lot. Some of them took a lot of negotiation, and we were on our way to see Kempes, who was actually a really nice man. But our producer got a call, in the truck on the way there, and we could hear some to and froing going on, and she got off the phone, put the phone down. We were like, "What's that about?" And he had called her, and we'd agree a fee to do the filming and the book and everything. And he had called her and said, actually, I scored 2 goals in the World Cup final.
So he wants double.
He wanted double. She just said, "Look, we're on our way. It's this or it's worth."
I had to persuade him to wear a Super Mario outfit. So don't worry about that.
Is that where Super Mario came from, or is it?
Well, I don't know.
Because he looks a bit like him, doesn't he?
I guess
it's part of the commentary. I think.
So you had to get Mario Kempes to put the suit on.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't do it.
He didn't want to do it.
He said, well, with good reason.
He said, he did do it. I pursued my powers of persuasion.
What took him? What made him do it in the end?
I said to him, all the greats have done this. I showed him Jorginho and all these people that had done it, and so
in silly costumes.
Yeah. So he sort of,
well done,
I managed to convince him.
Well done.
I know.
So there is a kind of special collection of these, of prints of all these players.
So whenever I'd finished, I had exhibition prints made and then sent those out around the world. And that collection, which is sort of it's a really beautiful box set. It's up for auction in New York, but the auction's actually online. It's Goldins, GOLDINS dot something. But if you just Google it, that auction opens on 15th, which I think is Friday.
Okay, so that would be for a special collection. Well, it's fascinating stuff. I mean, as you say, it's getting more difficult to get these guys these days. Any plans to sort of revisit it or not?
No,
or is this a one-off?
because the publisher said to me, look, if you want to keep doing this, we'll support it. But the problem is, I mean, I've told you stories about Geisha and whatever, and those stories about back in the day. But if I kept, and you can see the narrative arc in the book, but if I kept doing this, every 4 years, it would be a 23-year-old multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And then the next World Cup would be the same. And so the story would sort of flatline.
And there'd be people saying, well, he can't talk about that and we won't let him mention that.
Exactly.
You've got to mention his sponsor. You've got to show
and also
boots.
footballers, I mean, this... I can understand why, but all footballers do these days is play football. There's not much else going on. That's unkind, but it's sort of true.
Well, Michael, thanks ever so much for coming in. And Mark, in 30 days for the start of the World Cup.
Yeah, brilliant.
And there is a film. Is the film still available on YouTube?
Film, well, it's on YouTube. There's a slightly weird version on YouTube because somebody's put some weird voiceover on it. Right. But it's an ESPN film, but you can find it on YouTube and you can get that book on Amazon.
Brilliant. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. It is called Goal, Intimate Portraits and Interviews with Every Living FIFA World Cup Final Scorer by Michael Donald. So we're going to be chatting to an athlete, a hurdler, British hurdler, who's taken to modelling to make a bit more money so she can fly out and work with her coach ahead of the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, and all manner of other stuff to come, including our own Adrian Durham before 4 o'clock as we look ahead to our commentary game between Saints and Boro this evening. We're here with our good friends at Tool Station, open from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Grab what you need, get on site, get it done. First stop, Tool Station.
It's going to be a fun run. I mean, with the Premier League, I think it really is in our hands now. I can't see us giving it away with our remaining fixtures, especially Burnley at home next Monday night, which I will be going to.
Kurt, I feel as well, Man City will drop points. I really believe it. Bournemouth away. Irio's last game, home game of the season, and they're fighting for Champions League. That's a tough game for Man City.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. If obviously Aston Villa go and win the Europa League final, doesn't that open
sixth place? Yeah.
Yeah. So Bournemouth have got it all to fight for.
Because Brighton have got 2 winnable games behind them as well, so they know they probably need 2 wins. Bournemouth.
Yeah, Brighton have been in great form as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But guys, I've got to tell you, and I know you guys have probably already been told, but a lot of rival fans listening to this are going to think I'm crazy. I actually, a few weeks ago, had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed on my forearm.
No, I don't believe you.
I really have. It's on my TikTok page. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name of it, am I?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so if for anyone listening, it's called Arsenal.overflow. And yeah, you'll find it on TikTok. It's pinned at the top of my profile. I had Mikel Arteta's face tattooed alongside Thierry Henry and Emirates Stadium in the background because I do believe in this man. I do believe he is the one that's going to get us over that line, get us the trophies. And once these come in this season, I think we're just going to keep on going. Then I think the next couple of seasons we'll continue winning a lot more silverware.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win, because we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a massive £25,000. Oh my God. Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
Hawksbee and Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, if you fancy £25,000 in your hand, completely tax-free, well, at talkSPORT, our competition's just got a whole lot bigger with even more prizes up for grabs to give you that winning feeling. So head to talkSPORT Win. That's talksportwin.com to enter, and for full T's and C's. Don't worry, Andy, that's it. You haven't got to do your bit. I've done your bit.
Thanks, I'm glad.
Now, a bit of a recurring theme over the years on this show has been chatting to Team GB athletes about how they raise money to keep doing what they want to do and to be the kind of best sporting versions of themselves. You may recall back in 2012, we had James Ellington, the sprinter, who auctioned himself on eBay to raise the necessary money. Well, this isn't quite the same as that, but our next guest has set up a GoFundMe page to help her compete at the top level, and also is doing a bit of modelling as well. And it is the British hurdler, Emma Nwofor. Good afternoon, Emma.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I saw your story. I thought it was certainly worth telling people about it. It's, as we said with James all those years ago, you've got to do what you've got to do, haven't you, to make the money to compete?
Exactly that. If there's something that you want to achieve, something you want to do, you'll find any means necessary that's obviously fits within what you're doing and gets you to where you need to get to.
Because I think there's a perception that every athlete gets lottery funding, but is that true or not?
Unfortunately, it's not. As much as it would be amazing for everyone to receive some of that lottery funding, it goes through a process of there's different rankings and different ways where our governing body will allocate that money. But unfortunately, at the moment, I'm not on that.
So what do you need to do? You just have to, is it like you have to have sort of so many points or so many times or so many wins before you can start to qualify for that sort of money?
Yeah, good question. So it's changed a little bit now as World Athletics rankings and processes changed a bit, but depending on what your times or distance or performance is ranked compared to the rest of the world, if you're like an Olympic medalist or potential to go to the Olympics, World Athletics, various different categories such as those, that would qualify you.
And so you're hoping to compete at the Commonwealth Games. Is that the 100-metre hurdles you're looking to specialise? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So to be considered to go to these games, you must run the qualifying standard, which is the minimum time in my case. Which was 13 flat. And luckily enough, this year and last year, I achieved the standard there. The only thing next is British Championships on the 20th and the 21st of June. So next month, if you come first, you definitely go. And yeah, from there, we'll know if you're definitely going to Commonwealth, which is on home soil, which is amazing in Scotland, in Glasgow. But fingers crossed, all of that will go according to plan and I'll make it on the start line and on the podium.
I will hope so. Do you have to fund a coach as well, or do you get help with that?
So yeah, I have to pay my coach. Again, it's a little bit different depending on like your circumstances. So because I'm not like on any sponsorship or like funding with, I don't know, the likes of like Adidas or Nike or Puma, anything like that, I have to pay, for my coach. Whereas for some people, some athletes that are on funding, say if they are a Nike athlete, they might train with a Nike coach.
Yeah.
So then they don't directly pay for the coach, but through the company they get paid and stuff.
And this funding is to get you out of the States, because your coach is out in the States, so you have to go out there and sort of fund that yourself. And, it's difficult to stay for a long period of time without money.
Exactly that. So two things. The first thing is because I am in America, I'm not allowed to work. So primarily all my income comes from when I'm at home. I'll go to training, I'll go to work, I'll try balance the two. But when I am in America, because I can't work, I can focus more of my time on my craft, making sure I'm eating well, recovering well, training hard, but all of that comes at a cost. So I have to be very careful with how I spend my money, and even for competitions as well, that can become very costly too.
Yeah. Now, the modelling, it's 40 model management company, and I've checked out some of the pictures, and it's kind of sports stuff, isn't it? It's like the sort of thing you'd see in your Nike or Adidas catalogue of sort of you running or looking into the middle distance wearing sort of training gear.
Yeah, exactly that. So what's really cool about Forte is that they put you with companies and different campaigns that will allow you to shine. So for me, it's in like the fitness industry, and I might dabble in the fashion, but I don't think that's for me. But like those opportunities, again, connects you with various different brands, different companies, and connects you with people around the world, really.
Yeah. So where can we find your GoFundMe page then, if people would like to help and help you get to the Olympics and the Commonwealth Games?
Oh, that's a great question. So you can find my GoFundMe page. I'm pretty sure if you was to just to type my first and last name, Nwofor, EMMA, last name NWOFOR, and then funding or GoFundMe into whatever search engine you're using, it should pop up. And you can donate in any currency, whether it's 50 pence, £1 to 100k, whatever it is that you guys can send to support. I'll be more than grateful. And
Brilliant.
I'm just so grateful that I can be on this platform sharing that as well.
Well, it's good. It's good. Well, we wish you well, because I think it's an insight to a lot of people who just think that athletes are handed lottery funding, but I think we've kind of learnt over the years doing this, it's not as straightforward as that. So we wish you well, Emma. Thanks very much for joining us.
Following you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, there we are. So you could be part of that, folks, with your 50p or a pound, whatever it is. Emma Nwofor there, the British hurdler and heptathlete. So we've got a Paddy's Pick coming up. Adrian Durham will be joining us for a bit of a chat as well. We've got live football tonight. So a bit of spice added to Southampton Boro. That playoff semi-final second leg in the Championship, 0-0 from the first game. Jim Proudfoot and Scott Minto, your commentary team. But Adrian will be joining us to talk about that and some of the other stories emerging today in the world of football. And at 4 o'clock, Rory Jennings is alongside Darren Bent on Drive.
I look back on it as probably one of the best shows we've ever put on. The main event was just unbelievable. Unbelievable fight. Two absolute warriors who gritted their teeth and gave everything. And the place was rammed out, it was sold out, and everybody there, they were just enthralled by it.
And of course, we saw it happened in the early moments. Frank Dubois picked himself up from the canvas twice after all the question marks about Hart. And I know you bristled at these questions before the fight, but is Daniel now no longer a man to be doubted?
Well, look at the punches that he took. And he got up and he gritted his teeth and got on with it. And he's matured. And he boxed extremely well. I watched it back on the replay on TV, and I thought it actually looked better on the replay than he did when I was watching it. I thought he was excellent, and he was so good afterwards. The way he praised Fabio for his, the part he played in the fight. It was magnificent. And anybody who doubts Daniel now, I don't know what planet they're on. I mean, he's matured mentally, and I believed in him. We've stuck with him. We believed in him and stuck with him, and he delivered for everybody.
I think you thought the Hart issue, the Hart question, was a valid one before the fight.
Well,
Simon.
I didn't think it was a valid one, but I thought it was a legitimate narrative. I don't think the Hart question is any more relevant to Daniel Dubois than it was to Zerda Ramirez last week when David Benavides knocked him and he went down on his knee twice. I think it's a narrative that gets seeded and people have to live with it. It started with Joe Joyce. It got replicated against Usyk a couple of times, and I think it's probably slightly unfair.
We're told to expect a nuclear explosion with Southampton and Middlesbrough on a collision course over Spygate. Former Palace owner talkSPORT Simon Jordan thinks the latest statement out of St Mary's will enrage the Boro board.
I think there's very little doubt in Middlesbrough's mind. I think there's very little doubt in the EFL's mind. I think there's very little doubt in Southampton's mind. I think if I read the situation rightly, I think they've already coughed to it to Middlesbrough, and I think they've already coughed to it to the EFL.
The Saints CEO says the club is cooperating with an investigation and has asked for more time to conduct an internal review. Boro are expected to push for sporting sanctions if Saints are found guilty. Tonight's Championship playoff second leg starts goalless. You can hear live commentary on talkSPORT from 7 p.m. Now he's taken Manchester United back into the Champions League, so Michael Carrick might expect his old teammates to put a word in for him. Club legend Paul Scholes says in the absence of a Thomas Tuchel or a Luis Enrique, he's the man.
I think appointing Michael will taper expectations a little bit as well. I think expectations are a big thing with Man United. Everybody is involved with the club, whether it's you as a fan, whether it's me as a fan, whether it's people working there. At the start of every season, we expect to be challenging for the league.
Scholes is also urging United to go after Elliot Anderson's signature this summer.
He will still have to test himself in the Champions League, but he looks to me like he'd be able to handle it absolutely no problem.
To find out who Paul Scholes would start in the 10 for England, watch this interview back on our YouTube channel.
Paddy's Pick on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Can you guess who's made the headlines this week? 18 plus, be gamble aware.org.
Yes, time now for Paddy's Pick, in association with our official betting partner, Paddy Power. In Paddy's Pick, I'll ask Andy to identify a mystery sports personality who's Paddy's Pick of the week. As always, Andy, you'll get 5 clues to work out who it is. We'll start with £50 in the pot, and for every clue we use without the correct answer, £10 gets taken away. It's all for charity, raising funds for the Shen UK. So are you ready, Andy?
I am ready.
As always, I've not turned the page over, so I'll find out when you do who it is. Oh, yeah, you'll be all right, I think, depending on the clues, which can be a bit weird sometimes. This week's pick is a forward who scored an impressive goal last weekend. You've got to give him a bit more than that. Not necessarily in this country, is all I'm saying.
Oh, it's Marcus Rashford.
Oh, it is Marcus Rashford. I mean, that wasn't a massive clue, was it? I mean, I think that's fair. How did you manage that?
Well, because he scored a great goal. I saw it, and it was brilliant. He's playing abroad.
OK, well, I've heard you struggle on more information than that.
Well, you know.
February 2016, age 18, scored 2 goals on both his first team and European debut. In Midtjylland, you wouldn't have got it from that, would you?
Yeah, it's been a great move for him.
Yeah, it's worked very well. I mean, they're talking about 26 million. I mean, that will be an absolute bargain, won't it?
It seems cheap, yeah.
Scored in his first Manchester derby. Manchester United's youth academy came through that. 2 FA Cups, EFL Cups, Community Shield. I thought you didn't count that, Jose. And UEFA Europa League, and scored in his England debut May 2016. It was Marcus Rashford, scoring a great goal against Real Madrid or Barcelona, win La Liga for the second year in a row. So 50 quid. 50 quid for Deschênes. That's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power, official H&J betting partner, 18 plus only, begamblerware.org.
Paddy's Pick on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. Can you guess who's made the headlines this week? 18 plus, begamblerware.org.
Now,
yes,
over the years, I've read a lot of mad letters from Brian Linford and all sorts of people.
Yes.
But I think this is possibly the maddest letter that I've ever read out.
What paper was it in?
It was in the Daily Star.
Okay.
You won't be surprised.
Normally, yeah.
It comes from Harry John.
Man with 2 Christian names.
Very much
names,
so.
yeah.
If Cole Palmer got a proper haircut like Declan Rice and Hugh Grant from 4 Weddings and a Funeral, then he'd have the girls swooning after him like Nick Cage. Brackets Mortal Kombat. It looks as if he's been in combat with his barbers. Maybe then he'll have a shot at going to the World Cup. Well done, Cineworld, by the way, for giving me a great afternoon out. Cineworld could do a lot worse than showing the World Cup this summer on a big screen with some popcorn.
It's a nice idea.
What's that got to do with Cole Palmer's
That's
hair?
quite scattergun, isn't it? He's gone from Cole Palmer's hair to a big pat on the back for Cineworld and see if they can show some... That used to be the case back in the day, folks, before everything was available on the telly. You'd go and watch the boxing, like the Ali fights and stuff. You go up to Leicester Square or to various places around the country and watch them on closed-circuit television.
Silly o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. You're sitting in a cinema in Leicester Square watching big fights.
I did Rumble in the Jungle, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, this you don't see that very often, but Mo Baloumi, who scored for...
Who's Mo Baloumi?
He scored for Hull last night in the playoff final, in the semi-final, he's the only footballer whose name rhymes with a Greek cheese. It's a very unusual name. Mo Baloumi, he loves halloumi.
Yes, well, it could be a little campaign going for him.
It could be.
This is do you want a mad story? I'll give you a mad story.
Give me a mad story.
This was... Apparently Michael Vaughan revealed this on a podcast. Sir Geoffrey Boycott, right?
Heard of him, yeah.
Once wrote a furious letter to Simon Cowell.
Did he?
When he sacked Cheryl Cole from The X Factor.
Really?
According to Michael Vaughan, Geoffrey was really...
Get out!
Yeah. You've made a mistake there, Simon. Yeah, he's very, very upset he was, and wrote quite an angry letter to Simon Cowell saying Cheryl was brilliant. Why did you drop her?
Do you think she did the reverse when Geoffrey didn't do
That's right, maybe.
special anymore?
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's bizarre, isn't it? You wouldn't have thought that of him.
You wouldn't have thought that of him. That's a really it's a unique fact that we've learnt today.
It is indeed.
I never get this as well. Holiday Brits will soon get their fix of Greg's steak, bakes and sausage rolls in the Canaries.
Yeah.
They're opening an outlet in Tenerife.
Nice, yeah.
I don't know, for me, surely the whole joy of going abroad, isn't it? To try something different, not eat what you eat at home. I can't ever see that, really. But people do it.
What do you normally eat at home, though? You eat pasta at home, but you'd eat pasta in Italy, wouldn't you? I suppose it's slightly different to a great steak.
Slightly different, yeah. I mean, I've imported it here rather than, exported it.
What about for expats, then? Now, they are missing the steak.
That's very true. For them,
they get a free ad here.
But look, it does include a Spanish omelette roll, which you wouldn't normally find in the Greggs in the
No.
High Street.
Okay, well, that's right. Thanks for pointing that out.
Dave from Coppell wrote to the Star. He's not bothered about Southampton's...
Dave Coppell?
Dave from Coppell.
It's not Steve from Coppell, is
No,
it?
it's Dave from Coppell.
Okay.
Coppul. I don't know where that is.
Don't do that. You're frightening
but
the
that's
life
how
out
the
of me.
letter starts like that. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, but not the way you did it first up was quite troubling.
It was a bit like Jeff Peterson, the birthday spread, wasn't it?
It was like your death rattle. I didn't like that. It was quite horrible.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Southampton have been charged with spying on a Boro training session.
They have.
And the charge is what exactly? Watching a few men running about a pitch playing footy.
Yeah.
Another one. Ha, 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 ha.
Ha, 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 ha.
Grow up. Nothing to see. Here, spelt with 2 E's. Well done, Dave.
Yeah, well done, Dave.
I think it's slightly more serious than that, Dave. Can't deal with it, but there we go.
Did you see PSG are going to pay for all their 500 staff at the club to go to the Champions League final against
That's nice,
Arsenal?
isn't it?
The lot. I'd say 500 staff, that'll be what? Will that be cleaners? That'll be everybody.
I'm sure Sir Jim Ratcliffe will do the same if United get there next season.
I'm sure they will.
Absolutely
He'll
bound
make a
to.
contribution.
Oh, yeah.
He'll buy them all a cup of tea when they get over there. But the president wrote to them all and said, this is a tribute to the hard work and high standards and commitment of everyone who contributes to this club every day.
It's nice, actually. That's a right thing to do.
500 people off to Budapest.
Yeah, talkSPORT are doing the same. We're all going.
Yeah, of course. Yes, it's very good. It's really good of them. Yeah, they don't know that yet. No. Yes.
Sylvia Monk, who's been writing letters to the Sun as long as I've been doing this show, hasn't quite thought this through. She said, "What a wise choice for Strictly Emma Willis is. She's such a versatile TV presenter.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. So do the BBC need to spend more of our licence fee on getting her a sidekick? I think she'd find it quite hard to do the show. So she's standing there with the contestants facing the judges. And then when they go up to the top there... And
you have to run up the stairs.
She'll have to run up behind them. Then she'll have to run down again.
They get her a fireman's pole. So they got to save some money.
You've not thought these through, Sylvia, honestly.
Andy in Birmingham's been in touch. We mentioned earlier on Diego Dallo's samba music doesn't go down well in the Manchester United dressing room, although we played some earlier on. It was very good. Andy in Birmingham said, somebody in my cricket team brings a Bluetooth speaker every game to play various loud nonsense in the dressing room. I usually try and hide when nobody's... I try and hide it when nobody's looking, he said, because I've spent the morning listening to a 4-year-old shouting about Bluey. I just want some peace and quiet in the dressing room. See, not everybody wants the music in there. That is very true.
You showed me a new sport before the show. It was absolutely amazing. I've never...
It's a Mexican sport. It's...
I thought I knew every sport there was, but this one was...
We're going to try and get someone in the build-up to the World Cup to tell us a bit more about it. It's 3,400 years old. It's called Ulama. Ulama.
Okay.
It's an ancient ball game, and basically you've got to hit the ball with your hips.
You can only use your hips.
You can only use your hips. Yeah, that's all you can do.
I did say it would be quite good to get VAR on it.
VAR.
Darren England.
Oh, yeah, somebody. Well,
It's not a bin on the hip. That might have been just the side.
I think it's become the most hateful phrase in football, don't you?
Yeah.
It's just somebody walking forward and after review, think, oh, shut up, after review. It's just, it's the thing that football fans hate. It feels like a far show character, the kind of far show referee who comes out the toilet and says, after review.
Can imagine.
I definitely shouldn't have had that 3-day-old Vindaloo that was in the fridge. My decision is... Pepto-Bismol. Be a great character, wouldn't he? After review.
After review. It is irritating.
It's just they always want, even if they don't come from that part of the world, they have to say after review. Even if they're from London.
That's Max Rushton's
I think
theory,
it's in the PGMOL.
He says they all come from a village in North Yorkshire.
Yeah, that's it. Tonight on my favourite show and the one my wife hates, tries to put a foot through the telly. Match officials mic'd up the shiny floor game show,
favourite show
with Howard Webb and Michael Oliver. Michael Owen. Michael Oliver. That's too many reps. Michael Owen. After review. We're going to see, we're going to hear all the audio.
The whole audio.
We're going to hear all the audio from the raft of the Medusa the other day.
Dale Johnson said there were like 10 fouls or something in here. It was absolutely ridiculous.
So we're going to hear all the audio because West Ham wanted to hear it, so they're just making it public tonight. It's going to be interesting.
You just got to get over it. It's not going to change. It's not going to do anything about it. So that's the end of it. You have to just accept that.
So, we're going to have a chat with Adrian. After review, we have decided to speak to Adrian Durham this afternoon and chat about tonight's big game. He's going to be there as your compere, as your host for the game, which has got an extra bit of edge to it. Saints Boro tonight. We'll look at some of the other stories of the day. That's all to come. We are here with our very good friends at Toolstation. First stop for everything for the job from 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Start strong. Start it right. First stop, Toolstation.
Let's not worry about other teams. I'm sorry, West Ham, not our problem. Okay, you lost 3-0 to Brentford. You've got 3 games. Go and beat Arsenal on the weekend. Do it yourself. Aston Villa, worry about Aston Villa. And the players, they took it easy. My daughter was there in the whole end. She's like, Dad, why is everyone walking? It was walking football from Aston Villa. But then when you see a performance like that, where they've put in 100% every player, you don't care about that. Up the Villa!
Up the Villa!
Up the Villa! Istanbul!
Do you want the hands mask? Put the hands mask on.
Gabby's putting the hands mask on. Up the Villa! Up the Villa! Up the European Villa! Istanbul! Istanbul! Let's go! Let's go, baby! Boys,
do as anyone see. Do as anyone see.
Yeah. Got it. Go on, Gabby.
Let's set it up for Gabby.
Sorry. Has anyone seen Maximus Scott? Where are you, Max? We need some news. Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves, Sherwood Forest, Friar Tuck. Where are you, Friar? The original boots chemist. Hooters. Is Hooters closed? I used to open Hooters. Close Hooters. Shut it down. Matt Ford, do us a favour, mate. Stuart Broad, where are you? Chris Wokes, better player. Where are you? Tricky Trees. Rock City. HB Sauce, where are you? Notts. Forest.
And Big H Marcus killed me. Big H Marcus killed me.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win, because we're giving one lucky listener the chance to win a massive £25,000.
Oh my God.
Go to talksport.com/win to enter now, and you could win 25 grand in your hand, tax free.
Oh, that's incredible.
Get that winning feeling courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Thank you very much.
Find out how to enter now at talksport.com/win.
Big game tonight, St Mary's, Southampton versus Boro. Big enough game because there's potentially a place in the Premier League at stake, but give an extra spice, as we were saying to Craig Hignett earlier on, the former Boro striker, by Spygate. Your host this evening for the big game, joins us now. Adrian Durham. Good afternoon, Aid.
There you are.
Paul, Andy, great. It's brilliant on your next show.
Oh, yes, it's a great pleasure to welcome you, Adrian. It's lovely to chat to you from your fine hotel room near the stadium, I'm guessing. It has made it interesting, isn't it? As you said, it doesn't need a lot of spicing up because of the jeopardy, but it certainly, as a backdrop, it does make things very interesting tonight.
Yeah, the Spygate thing I found ridiculous, really. I mean, we could all tell you what Boro were going to do. We could all tell you how the game was going to go, and it was exactly what happened. Boro give it their all for about an hour. They have plenty of chances. They can't hit the back of the net. That's what they do. And then they fade after an hour, and Southampton have a bit of the game. It's exactly what happened. So I found it a little bit weird. What I do know is that when the alleged spy was there, they were working on pressing. And so maybe Southampton were trying to get something there, or they were trying to find out if Hayden Hackney was fit. Well, he's not fit tonight. So it's all a bit weird. I don't know the reason why they felt they had to do it, to be honest.
It's not done them any favours, has it, Adrian? I mean, people are looking at them.
Yeah.
Up till then, people were thinking Tonda Eckert's done such a brilliant job. He's a great bloke and blah, blah, blah. This is his first sort of misstep, I think.
Well, it's not going to be him. I mean, we don't know how much knowledge he had of it. Because
when he was defending it was a bit, it wasn't great.
A bit mealy-mouthed, do you think? What's your take on Eckert's role or not in this, Aid?
Well, I thought his interviews have been really weird. The press conference after the game, I felt could have been handled a lot better because there's going to be questions on it. And, is he not bright enough to handle those? I think he's quite a bright spark. Listen, he's not very forthcoming with his answers anyway when it's about football, even after they've won. So, it was a tricky one. You're right. He's won a lot of friends with the cup run and with their form in the league. So I just find it really weird. There was no need. And I do wonder how much involvement he had in it. So all will come out in due course. But listen, they got a draw at Middlesbrough. So they might say, or whoever was responsible might say, well, it got us a positive result in the first leg.
That playoff last night is so typical, isn't it? That the team that finishes third often doesn't make it. I don't know what it is about it, but Hull arrived late and now they're in the final.
Well, as we said, like Boro were in the top two for quite a long time, so you wonder if that might play on their minds a bit.
Yeah, it might do, and their form hasn't been brilliant. Although away from home they do score goals, which is more than what they do at home. They've drawn their last 3 away games 2-2. Southampton have drawn their last 2 home games 2-2. So I think it might be 2-2. I'm just wondering about that. But I think it promises to be a great game. I think the difference last night, I was at the first leg of Hull Millwall, which was, I got the short straw there. But Balumi for Hull really made the difference last night, having watched it back this morning. And you could have one individual really making the difference tonight to take a team to Wembley, whether it's Cienza for Southampton, the Brazilian, or whether it's Morgan Whittaker, who's just coming to the fore for Boro. I think one individual's brilliance could make the difference tonight.
We've discovered in the last couple of hours, Adrian, that Ben White's season is done. He's got knee ligament issues. You would imagine that's probably his World Cup. Is that a blow? Would you have expected him to go or not?
Sorry, I missed that question. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Ben White. Ben White's picked up a knee injury and they say his season's finished. You suspect that he may have run out of time from an England point of view. Would you have expected him to have gone to the World Cup with England?
Well, I was surprised he was called up and then, having ridden through the storm from the fans and the booing, etc., I think that had subsided. I think that had gone away. So I think he might well have gone. So maybe there's still a chance. I appreciate he's not fit for the rest of the season for Arsenal. But if England are thinking, well, we're going to get through the group and maybe beyond that, if he's fit, they might decide to take him. But, I think it's a long shot as far as Ben White is concerned. It's a shame because, he's missed a lot of games this season through not being selected mainly. Just come back into the fold with Arsenal, but so it's a shame for him. But I think he would have had a chance of going. Yeah,
I think Reece James will be fit though, which I think would have.
That'll be very good from an England point of view. So you were at Tottenham last night, and so we're right in the midst of this sort of two-way battle to stay up. You've watched a fair bit of West Ham and of Tottenham. Where are you at with the remaining games, Ed? Who's staying up? Who's going down in your eyes?
How terrible are Tottenham, honestly. It's just so bad. I mean, I heard what you were saying about Colomwani earlier. Absolutely bang on. He looks so almost amateur, really.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that. The guy's played in a World Cup final. He's a top-level footballer who costs a lot of money, but I think they're shorn of confidence. I thought James Maddison added some confidence and calmed everybody when he came down, even though, if you go back and look, his first touch of the ball, he balloons it, Avett style, right into the air and out of play. Yeah. It's extraordinary. After that, he got a little bit better, but I actually think James Maddison might bring that calm and quality that will just see Spurs over the line. So feeling a little bit more confident about it. In some ways, from a neutral point of view, I'm glad they didn't win last night because it's kept that relegation place alive. It's two big clubs with two crazy good stadiums, and one of them is going to be in the Championship next season. It's a hell of a story, isn't it?
It's how much football he's got in him. I mean, he's just come back. He got sort of 10, about 15. Where did the 13 minutes of injury time come from? Were you shocked by that?
I was shocked by that. I mean, hugely shocked at the time. Somebody had told me there was going to be 13 before the board was put up, and I was like, it's never going to be 13. They've made a mistake there, and 13. Now, there were some injuries and some subs, obviously, but, there wasn't a flurry of goals that got celebrated. So I was very, very surprised at 13. I was also very surprised that Leeds didn't get the penalty with that offside. I mean, semi-automated basically got it wrong. I mean, we're at a time in the season now where we can actually, honestly, openly say the decisions / VAR are starting to make some crucial mistakes that are going to decide relegation, potentially decide the title. We'll never know how it would have been, but it's no different to what we had before. So, I've always been against VAR, and I'm seeing nothing to persuade me otherwise. Listen, I thought last night that Spurs, if Richarlison takes that chance at 1-0, they go on and win and they're safe, and West Ham go down. But, that's the breaks. And in the end, they got lucky. Kinski's save at the end from Longstaff is truly out of this world. And what a comeback from him. You've got to admire his courage, No,
absolutely. He's been fantastic. And I think he'll keep his place for the rest of the season now, whether Vicario's fit or not. But, Aid, enjoy the game tonight. We'll hear from you later. Thanks very much.
Great show. Cheers, boys.
Adrian Durham is back at 7 o'clock. And it's Saints versus Boro. Jim Proudfoot is your commentator alongside Scott Minto. And you can get your calls into the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy straight afterwards. But that is us, amidst news that Jose is inching ever closer to being the Real Madrid manager.
It's going to happen.
That is some story, isn't it? I'm sure the boys on drive, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent, will be right across that. So have a great evening and keep it TalkSport for the live football. Keep it TalkSport for Rory and Benty up next.
I've spent the season, in fact, the last few seasons, absolutely hammering VAR as one of the most disgraceful, shocking, inconsistent, outrageous and pathetic inventions in the history of world sport. And I would like to make a sincere and humble apology right now to VAR, which I think is a massively misunderstood, brilliant invention that I think should be the template for world sport for the next few decades. No, look, let's be serious. I think that I don't like VAR. I think VAR has sucked the joy out of watching football. I think the constant delays, the constant waiting around, the constant ruining of magical moments because you're never quite sure if it's going to count. I don't like any of it. And I would rather go back, honestly, to the days when we relied on a guy in a black outfit who was going to decide whether it was a goal or not, and with the help of his linesman. Because VAR, I don't think any real football fan likes this, because it's so inconsistent. And ultimately, it depends